Hey guys. This is the part 6 for What If Naruto Was a Businessman and the Owner of a Company. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one, and also please check the author in the description. Let's start. Chapter 8. I have told you that I will not betray Zabuza-sama. Your only option is to kill me, Haku said while Naruto just casted a light glare at her. Haku matched his glare with her own, and the blonde took out a kunai. You seem to not value your life above your master's. I admire such things, Naruto said as he held the kunai to Haku's throat. The only thing that moved was a bead of sweat that went down Haku's face as she failed to calm herself in the face of Naruto's eyes. I owe Zabuza-sama my life, Haku said, and Naruto closed his eyes. He snorted before he withdrew his kunai. He could see that he was right in the assumption he had on why this girl was following someone like Zabuza. But depending on her skills, then he also came to the conclusion that she was actually very cautious to her words when talking with the blonde. He could feel that about her. As I have said before, I do not care about your master. He is not my concern at the moment. You, as well as him, are only an obstacle to what I desire, Naruto retorted as he continued to walk across the dark room, which Haku still didn't know where she was, but hearing Naruto's words then she could draw on a conclusion. You desire Gato? Haku asked, and Naruto stopped to glare at, well, nothing in particular, but he was more glaring at Gato's name. Your words, I have thought over them for a long time that you have been asleep. I see truth in them. You are a mystery just like a certain woman I know, but I suppose that is because of my own reasoning, Naruto said, and Haku wondered what he was talking about as she couldn't understand those words, but she didn't respond. This is simple. Tell me what I wish to know and I will let you go, Naruto said, and Haku blinked at the sudden deal Naruto was offering her. The blonde could feel her eyes pierce into the back of his head, and he didn't have to turn around and look at her to know that there was hesitance in her eyes. I will tell you nothing. As I have said, I will not betray Zabuza-sama to the enemy, Haku said, and Naruto turned around then folded his arms. You failed to understand something, Haku-san. What you have to tell me, I might already know. Your activities aren't as hidden as you would like to believe. Upon seeing him, I realized that the Mizukage is after Zabuza for his failed plans of a coup d'etat against him, Naruto said, and Haku gasped. You're threatening to disclose to them Zabuza-sama's location if I don't answer? Haku asked, and Naruto snorted. Don't be absurd. I have no desire for such things. As I have said to you, your master and yourself do not concern me. You are only obstacles. However, you also fail to realize one other thing, Naruto said, and Haku raised an eyebrow. You said that you owe Zabuza your life, is that correct? Naruto asked, and Haku nodded cautiously while Naruto narrowed his eyes. Then you no longer have a say in how you die. That is Zabuza's choice. Once say that you owe someone your life, then the control that you have is gone unless you take it back yourself. You have not, therefore it is not your place to die here, Naruto said, and Haku struggled against the ropes. Then let me go so that I may return to Zabuza-sama, Haku said, and Naruto shook his head. I can't allow that, however, as you still have not answered my questions. It is very simple. If you don't answer me, then I know that you will never get out of here. As far as I can tell by these herbs that you've collected, then Zabuza is still injured for the most part. He should be on his way to recovery, but when he finds out that you aren't there, then most likely he will search for you. Least likely he will leave you and face us himself on the bridge, where he will inevitably die either from Hatake or Gato, Naruto explained, and Haku gasped again. Gato wouldn't betray us. He's our employer, Haku said, and Naruto glanced at her with a raised eyebrow. Haku just stared into his eyes, and they seemed to be flowing with a certain truth that made her question what she was saying out of her mouth. She knew Gato was a dog and that he could give a damn about her or Zabuza, and even less about his own men when he got what he wanted. She knew that to be true, and she knew even more that he really would betray them in a heartbeat if he really wanted to. Your notion is asinine. Money and wealth change people for the worst. You and your master are only walking towards your own destruction, Naruto said as he turned around and began to walk to a door. Where are you going? Haku asked, and Naruto opened said door. I do not have the time to waste with you today. I have been absent from my team long enough. I'll be back to check on you later, Naruto said as he opened and closed the door, leaving Haku inside. She sighed to herself, and she struggled against the wires that had her body bound for the moment. Meanwhile, Naruto came back outside as he turned around and closed the door to a lone room behind him. There were some things that Naruto wouldn't disclose, no matter how much someone wanted to know. The blonde walked off through the woods and quickly came to the place where Haku had dropped her basket of herbs when he caught her. The blonde looked at it as he noticed the fallen herbs on the ground. He swiftly picked up the basket and placed the herbs back inside, then leaned it close to a tree. Father! Naruto looked up as he noticed Fu, Rinko, and Tuka on a tree branch looking down at him. What are you doing up there? Naruto asked, and all three jumped down and somehow managed to land perfectly on Naruto's head and shoulders. Fun! Tuka responded, and Naruto shook his head before he heard huffing. Damn foxes. I just asked if they could find Naruto-kun. I've been walking through this forest for the past 2 hours, Sakura said, coming out of the trees panting. She wiped some sweat from her face before she felt a pair of steely eyes on her. She looked up and she noticed Naruto looking down at her. Sakura blinked before she stood to her feet. Naruto-kun, what are you doing out here? And where have you been all day? You didn't return since last night after the talk about Kaiza-san, Sakura said, and Naruto nodded. You are right. It was an ill-advised action. As of now, I'm collecting the last remaining herbs for Hatake. By tomorrow he'll be fine, Naruto said, and Sakura smiled with a nod. Alright then, does that mean we'll be training again today? Sakura asked, and to her surprise, Naruto shook his head. Today's training will be restoration. Consider it a day off, Haruno-san, Naruto said while Sakura widened her eyes. She then just bowed with a small smile and walked back to the house. Naruto shook his head and then went back to picking up the herbs that Haku had been collecting. He knelt to the ground and began to pick some more herbs while his kits played around. He'd get back to training them once they were away from Wave. As for now, he still had to deal with Kakashi. Satisfied at his amount, Naruto began to walk back to the house and his kits followed him. He hadn't known it, but they had trained with each other the entire time that he was gone, and they had even trained while his clone and Sakura had been training. They liked to train when they didn't feel like playing. It made them actually happy that they could be acknowledged by their father for the work that they did. Naruto quickly opened the door to Tazuna's house as he came to the sight of Kakashi looking at him with a glare, but he ignored it and made his way to the kitchen. Not going to tell us where you were all day, Naruto? Kakashi asked, and the blonde quickly walked into the kitchen. Gathering herbs for you, Hatake. Tomorrow I will be relieving you of your crutch as you'll be at a good capacity to combat Zabuza, but I expect you to not push yourself if you can help it. There are still chances that your wound will reopen, Naruto said, and Kakashi chuckled. Then I'll have you to thank for healing me if I get injured again, Kakashi said with an eye smile. Naruto snorted, but out of the corner of his eye he noticed Sakura packing her bags with kunai, shuriken, and some other things for about a good use of training. He raised an eyebrow and he saw Sakura pick up an earth scroll before quickly leaving the house. The blonde shook his head and pinched the bridge of his nose. Maybe she was just going to read. She liked to do that on the training off days that he gave her. It's tomorrow, isn't it, Kakashi? Sasuke asked, and Kakashi nodded. More than likely, Sasuke. I'll be needing you, Naruto, and Sakura to back me up on this, Kakashi said, and Naruto placed the herbs in the sink then began to wash them while Tsunami offered to help him out. Naruto didn't really acknowledge it, but he just left it alone. With the herbs washed, Naruto began to break them apart, and then grind them while adding a blue powder to them, turning the herbs dark red. He quickly swirled them around in a bowl and added water before crumbling a solider pill and allowing it to crinkle down into the bowl as he then poured it into a cup. Naruto took it and then placed it in front of Kakashi. Drink, he ordered, and Kakashi looked down to see the medicine in front of him. His eyes watered and Kakashi's sweat dropped. Naruto, this is nice, but is it supposed to smell like this? Kakashi asked, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. Yes, it is. Now drink it, Naruto ordered again, and Kakashi gulped. Sasuke grimaced while Rinko, Tuka, and Fu scratched their noses in irritation. Kakashi groaned before he took a hold of the drink while Naruto carefully watched him. Much to Naruto's surprise, Kakashi downed the drink as fast as he could, while not revealing his mouth under his mask, and dropped it to the table just before coughing. "It was bitter," he said while the blonde turned around. "Just be lucky that I didn't have to inject it into you." "That would have been worse," Naruto said, and Kakashi grimaced at such a scene. One that he hoped he would never have to encounter. Satisfied with the results of what he had seen, Naruto walked upstairs to his room to go and get some things done. It was most of the things that Kisa had sent him when she had the time to, and the blonde had decided to take this work to Waves since he had nothing better to do except read, and he didn't want to run out of what he had brought with him. With Zabuza. The former Kuririn narrowed his eyes as he looked at the ceiling. It had been 2 or 3 hours since Haku had left, and she hadn't returned. Now Zabuza knew that she could very well handle herself as he didn't stop training her in the shinobi arts, and it was unlikely that she would actually be caught, but with what he had seen of the Copynin's team then they weren't to be trifled with, especially not that blonde. Zabuza could feel something about him. He was just a dangerous young man. Just as dangerous as Haku, if not more. "Yo Zabuza, how are you?" Meizu asked, and Zabuza narrowed his eyes. "Haku hasn't returned," Zabuza said, and Meizu raised an eyebrow. He did notice the absence of Haku around the base for a good little while, and it had irked him a bit. "I think that's where Gozu was going. He was going to find Haku and bring her back from wherever she is," Meizu said, and Zabuza just nodded while he tried to lean up, but he couldn't for all the life of himself. Meizu just looked at the display before sighing and rubbing his head. "Zabuza-sama, are you sure that we should stay here? If all 4 of us go to the fight, then we're going to have a full-scale destroyed bridge on our hands. Gozu and I can take the Uchiha and his female teammate, but do you think that Haku can deal with that other boy?" Meizu asked, and Zabuza closed his eyes. "That brat is overestimating himself. Kakashi Hatake is mine, and if necessary then I'll cleave the brat myself. Haku had better be alright, cause if I find out that he took her then I'll put that damn brat's head on a stick," Zabuza said while Meizu just looked at the ground. He slowly nodded his head to Zabuza's words before he got up and walked out of the door. Back with Naruto, nighttime. Naruto, Kakashi, Sasuke, Tazuna, Tsunami and Inari were currently eating their food, and everyone still watched with an interested eye as Naruto passed on certain foods to Rinko, Tuka and Fu as the 3 kids ate their own food. It was for their benefit that he did this, and they understood it. Naturally, there were things that they couldn't do on their own, so Naruto would do for them. "So Naruto, have you seen Sakura?" Kakashi asked, and Naruto shook his head. "I am not aware of Haruno-san's whereabouts. You have no need to be concerned for her. She has been supplied enough to hold her own," Naruto said, and Kakashi sighed. "Honestly, first it's you and then it's Sakura. The only one who stays in one place is Sasuke," Kakashi said while Naruto rolled his eyes. He didn't actually care either way. Sasuke just showed the blonde an arrogant smirk, while Naruto ignored it, which irritated the Uchiha. "So Tsusan, how long until the bridge is finished?" Tsunami asked, and Tazuna just smiled while he turned to Tsunami. "Well, with everyone working and Naruto keeping them all in line, then we should be done within the next few weeks or so," Tazuna said, and Tsunami smiled happily while Inari just ate his food. "You have all performed well. However, I shouldn't need to be there to make sure that you don't leave, but I don't expect such things out of you. Just do your job accurately, and we will get through this with no problems," Naruto said, and Tazuna agreed. "Tell me, Naruto-san, how do you do it? How are you able to show such strength? Aren't you afraid of Gato?" Tsunami asked, and Naruto stopped eating. His kids looked at him while Kakashi seemed interested to know the answer as well. Sasuke just snorted and continued to eat his own food. "I do not fear Gato because I am not afraid to die," Naruto said, getting Tsunami to raise an eyebrow. Kakashi did the same, and Tazuna wondered what those words meant, but no one could go further as the door bursted open, showing Sakura as she panted heavily. Sasuke narrowed his eyes while Kakashi seemed surprised. "Naruto-kun, I did it!" Sakura said excitedly, surprising everyone and the kids. Naruto stopped eating as he turned to Sakura, and he instantly noticed her hands. Her very bruised hands. The blonde stared at them as they were wrapped with makeshift bandages. She was really out of breath as she walked towards Naruto, But she didn't get far as her legs wobbled and she fell to the floor. Her hair dropped over her head while Kakashi quickly went to her aid. He took a look at Sakura's hands and narrowed his eyes. Sakura, your hands? What did you do to them? Kakashi asked, and Sakura smiled while Naruto stood to his feet. He walked over to Sakura and quickly held out his hand. Kakashi blinked before he placed Sakura's hand into the blonde's, and Naruto looked it over. I thought I told you that this was a day of restoration and recollection, Haruno-san, Naruto said, and Sakura rubbed the back of her head. Well, I guess that I just wanted you to be proud of me. I managed to completely punch the boulder until it crumbled, Sakura said, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. At the expense of your hands, Naruto said, and Sakura blushed from embarrassment. HN loser. What use are you to us now with your hands broken? How is that training? Sasuke said while Sakura frowned. Fu snarled at Sasuke while Sasuke just looked back at him. Sakura, there was no need to push yourself so much. Do you really want to improve that badly? Kakashi asked, and Sakura balled her fists. Hi, I need to get better. I don't have a reason, but I want to get stronger, Sakura said while Sasuke snorted again. Kakashi gave a solemn look and Naruto did the same. The blonde held his hand in the air before he brought it down and touched Sakura's hair. The girl widened her eyes as she looked up. You have made me proud. Haru, Sakura, Naruto said to her, and Sakura raised her eyes in shock as the blonde stood to his feet and pulled Sakura to her own as well. Your hands have numerous fractures from the applied pressure, and you've shown to have a significant drop in your chakra that I can see. While you have done well, you must still exercise the minimal amount of force as I have shown you, but well done. What you did was foolish, but it was with great effort that you have mentally prepared yourself, Naruto said, and everyone watched as his hands began to glow green while Sakura saw her injuries fade. What is this? Sakura asked. Shozen no Jutsu, mystical palm technique, Kakashi said in surprise as Sakura felt the feeling return to her hands. She could also feel her bones being repaired while Sasuke blinked in surprise. Kakashi narrowed his eye at Naruto. He knew that the blonde was good with learning medical things as he had healed him, but such a jutsu required a huge amount of chakra control. Control that just shouldn't be possible with his reserves. Okay, Kakashi was willing to go out on a limb and say that Naruto was very talented. Just as talented, okay. Fine, much more talented than Sasuke, but for him to have such knowledge of the shinobi arts, then it was amazing. Sakura's hands quickly healed as the blonde opened his eyes and noticed that his work was done. Sakura sighed and awed at the sight of her hands fully functional and still as smooth as she had them that morning. Come with me, Naruto said, and Sakura nodded as she began to follow him up the stairs. Tsunami-san, would you mind making another plate and preparing some water? Naruto asked, and Tsunami snapped out of her stupor and stood to her feet. Hi Naruto-san. I'll prepare it for you soon, the brunette female said, and Naruto nodded as he and Sakura walked off. Why? Naruto and Sakura stopped while Tsunami turned around to see Inari seething in rage. Sasuke raised an eyebrow while Kakashi stayed silent. Why are you all trying so hard? You're all just going to die. You can't help us. We're all weak against Gato. He is going to terrorize us for the rest of our lives. You and your training, it gets you nowhere. Why don't you just leave us alone? Go on back to your nice, warm bed, your comfortable lives and your happy families. None of you know what it's like to be pushed around and treated like dirt. Inari shouted and everyone was silent. No one said anything. For some reason Kakashi turned to Naruto for a response, and the blonde just did nothing and said nothing while beginning to walk up the stairs. Let's go, Sakura. We'll get some ointment for you hands. You won't be doing anything for the rest of the night. Understood? Naruto asked, his voice being the only lingering thing that the others heard. Hi Naruto-kun, Sakura said as she continued to follow the blonde up the stairs. Everyone else was silent as Tsunami looked down at Inari sadly. Inari, they are doing this for our sake. So we don't have to live a life under Gato anymore. Why can't you understand that? Tsunami said, and Inari slammed the table. Entrusting our lives to 3 kids and a lazy man who are too worried about their own damn necks to do anything for us? Inari asked while Tsunami narrowed her eyes. Inari language. Tsunami reprimanded. Rinko, Tuka and Fu glanced to each other while Inari snorted. And that blonde guy, allowing all the workers to stay there? What does he know about anything? I bet he's never had to work a day in his life. He's never had to struggle. He goes to sleep in a nice bed, gets to eat a good meal every single day of his life. He knows nothing about true suffering. Ouch! Inari shouted as Fu bit his leg. Inari growled and tried to shake Fu off while Rinko and Tuka widened their eyes. Hey, let go of me, you damn animal! Inari shouted while Fu growled. Inari kicked into the air, sending Fu flying as the fox backflipped through the air and landed on the table. Inari snarled at Fu and the black fox snarled back, and he was ready to lunge again before his tail was grabbed by Tuka. Fu showed a surprise while Rinko growled at him. The young black fox looked down and whimpered before he walked off from the table and to the floor. Rinko scratched her ears as Tuka followed after Fu. Rinko did the same while Inari gripped his leg. Why does this always happen to me? Inari asked, tears flowing down his eyes. He soon felt a hand on his shoulder, and he looked up to see Tazuna staring at him. Inari, listen to me. Once we connect to the mainland, then we can get back to Exodus, and Inari snarled as he shoved off his hand. Enough about them. They aren't coming to help us. If they were, then they would have helped us a long time ago. They're too busy lining their pockets with money to care about some country like ours. They did nothing when Kaiser-san died. No, they abandoned him. Let's face it, he never knew the president. That's why he wouldn't tell us the guy's name. It's because he didn't know it. I bet they're in league with Gato right now making weapons for him. I bet their president is in his nice bed, counting his money like there was no tomorrow while we scrounge around for scraps. Kaiser wasn't an Exodus Metals worker. He was only their toy, Inari said while Tazuna frowned. Tsunami did the same and Sasuke casted a lone glare at the wall. Kakashi sighed and everyone heard footsteps as they noticed Naruto come down the stairs. The blonde had heard everything, but he ignored the young boy and walked over to Kakashi. Sakura is currently lying down. Even with what I've done, she won't be using her hands for the rest of the night. She will be fine tomorrow for what we must do, but for now she requires nourishment. Provide that for her, Naruto said, and Kakashi just nodded. More of the doctor's instructions. Got it, Naruto, Kakashi said, and the blonde just nodded as he walked over to Tsunami. Is it ready, Tsunami-san? Naruto asked, and Tsunami gasped before she quickly walked into the kitchen and quickly returned with a plate of hot food and some water. Naruto gave a bow and walked towards the door. You're going to eat outside? Kakashi asked, and Naruto just nodded as he made for the door. However, he looked down to notice Inari blocking him with the same scowl that he had earlier. Naruto said nothing and Inari did the same. The two stared at each other, and Inari had to admit that right now Naruto was scary. His eyes were piercing into his body, and he felt his legs tremble, but he stood steadfast. You're all just going to die. In this world there are no such things as heroes, Inari said, and Naruto closed his eyes. You are short-sighted. You are no better than the men that wanted to leave the bridge. It seems it was asinine of me to believe that the son of Kaiser could hold his head high. He is surely tossing in his grave at you for what you do not understand, Naruto said, and Inari gasped as he slowly backed away from Naruto. The blonde went for the door, opened it, and then closed it while everyone started to breathe normally. Inari just dropped to the ground as his tears stained the floor. Leaving the scene at the house behind, Naruto quickly made his way back to Haku. He really hadn't intended to keep her waiting that long, but there were things that required his attention that he needed to get done, and Haku just couldn't be considered a priority at the moment. Well, she was, but Naruto knew she wasn't going to kill herself or something like that and leave Zabuza to fight alone if it came right down to it. The wind blew across Naruto's face as the blonde sighed. He then shifted slightly and his eyes turned a hard left. What is it? Naruto asked, and quickly Goza came out from behind the trees before bowing to Naruto. Aniki, Zabuza is getting restless with Haku gone. He's well enough to move, but if you're going to want a chance to bring Gato out into the open, then I think you should let Haku go, Goza said, and Naruto glared forward. I am well aware of that. Where is Meizu? Naruto asked, and Goza pointed back to a random direction. He is trying to keep Zabuza calm so he doesn't go looking for Haku himself. Aniki, you know how strong he is even if he's still injured, Gozu spoke and Naruto nodded. That's right. Underestimating one of the swordsmen of the mist is an ill-advised action. However, it isn't in my interest to just let her go that easily, Naruto said, and Gozu agreed as well. I don't deny that to be true, Aniki, but they are scrounging for money just like we were. Aniki, don't you remember those times when we were traveling with you? Gozu asked, and Naruto held his head down. He looked at the swaying grass in front of him before he closed his eyes while Gozu watched him. Instantly, Naruto opened his eyes and walked off into the woods, leaving Gozu behind. Stay there, Naruto said, and Gozu just nodded obediently as he watched the young blonde walk off. With Haku. Haku opened her eyes as she wondered how long she had slept. She had tried on multiple occasions to break the wires that Naruto had placed around her body, but if her still being there was any indication, then it didn't work. She had to admit that the wires were masterfully done, and they were even laced with a sedative should her trying to break the wires as they cut her clothes and laced that sedative into her body. So far, the young blonde hadn't done what Haku had thought he might have done with her. In the world, she had met a lot of weird people, ignorant people, and outright disgusting people. She'd seen it all, but never had she met a more calm, composed, unwavering stance in someone as young as herself. He seemed to have an intelligence much beyond his years. If Haku had the chance, which now she did, she wondered what his eyes could see if she was him. Haku gave a slight gasp as the door opened and she saw Naruto come in. She narrowed her eyes at him, but Naruto did nothing. He simply looked at her for a moment before shaking his head and setting down the plate of food that Tsunami gave him as well as the glass of water. Haku looked at both items suspiciously and then back up at Naruto. I had assumed that you had forgotten about me, Haku said to him. Naruto snorted as he took a spoon and held it to Haku's face. Eat, Naruto said, and Haku glared at the food. I'm not hungry, she responded to him instantly, and Haku wasn't sure, but she felt that she could see Naruto's eyes harden. It would be senseless of you if you didn't eat. Also, it wasn't a request, Naruto said, and the room was silent for a time before Haku opened her mouth to speak. Wouldn't it be senseless of me to accept food from an enemy when it might be poisoned? Haku asked. She didn't know it, but Naruto was impressed with her words. Truth in such words were very rare for him to see, as anyone would normally talk if the sight of something they wanted was in front of them. Naruto had to applaud her. Poisoning you wouldn't prove to be in my interests. Understand that when I learned that you worked for Gato, my first instincts were to simply kill you, as you were just an obstacle to my goals. I see that you're a rather complex individual, Naruto said, and Haku raised an eyebrow. What made you change your mind in killing me? Haku asked cautiously, lest she let Naruto change his mind on the matter. How many have you killed? Naruto asked, and Haku blinked that he had avoided her question or something like that. She wasn't sure. I do not understand your question, Haku said, and Naruto placed the food down to the plate and folded his arms. How many people of Wave have you killed? Naruto asked with a dangerous glare that demanded no less than the truth. It was the type of glare that Haku seemed to see in Zabuza quite a lot, but she was never the full force of it. So being on the end of one was rather uncomfortable. I have killed none. Zabuza-sama has told me not to bother with them, as Gato has him deal with it himself. I have never understood why. Are you satisfied with my answer? Haku asked as Naruto just stared at her. He closed his eyes again as his mind ran through some calculations. What changed my mind in killing you is just what I've come to realize as human ignorance. It doesn't matter if you get it or not. However, I have noticed that you do not have a seal on either of your hands. You are not in a contract? Naruto asked, and since these weren't questions that directly affected anyone, then Haku didn't mind answering. No, I am not. I'm no worthy to be in a contract nor have a partner. I've always been on the run my entire life with Zabuza-sama, that there was never a time for him, or anyone, to draw me a partner seal, but it wouldn't matter even if I did have one. I am but a tool. A tool does not have a partner by its side, Haku said, and Naruto shook his head. We're all tools of destruction. It's man's nature to be like this, Naruto said as Haku glanced up to him. She could see a contemplating look in his eyes, but maybe something was just messing with her. Even tools have their partners, crafted to work well with one another to improve their efficiency. One does not work well without the other, Naruto told her, and Haku just sighed. I doubt there would be someone like that for me. Do you not have a partner? Haku asked, and Naruto turned around. That is not your concern at the moment. Now, are you going to eat? I could force you if I need to, but I'm trying to give you the option of deciding for yourself, Naruto said, and Haku frowned. Why are you so eager for me to eat? Haku asked, and Naruto shook his head. I have no need to be eager if you do eat or not, but to not eat every day that you have the opportunity to do so is poor thinking. You never know when something will be your last meal or not. It's wise to eat when given the opportunity to do so, Naruto said, and placed the food in front of Haku. She just looked at it for a bit, and opened her mouth to eat. She swallowed it, and Haku then watched as Naruto just continued to feed her, and give her sips of water which Haku took a great delight in. Once all the food was finished, Naruto set down the plate, and Haku stiffened, as she watched him go behind her. Haku couldn't help but allow a bead of sweat to fall down her face as she was ready to face her death, but her eyes widened as she felt the wires fall from her body, giving her free rein. She noticed Naruto roll up the wires. Haku just sat in the chair as she looked down to see that she really was free. I don't understand, Haku said, and Naruto snorted. And I doubt that you ever will, but make no mistake, whether you or Zabuza protect Gato or not, I will see him, and I will not hesitate to kill you if you get in my way, Naruto said while Haku frowned. It wouldn't have to come to this if you and your team left. This senseless violence. I really don't want to kill you, but for Zabuza-sama I will do it, Haku said, and Naruto shook his head. I'm afraid that's not possible. Just remember what I told you, Naruto said, and Haku just stared at him while Naruto opened the door. You make it sound like you don't have a choice, Haku said, and Naruto stopped at said door. One always has a choice. I could choose not to stay. I could choose to become a missing nin. I could choose to do a lot of things, but such things are impudent and irrational. I loathe such things. No doubt I will see you on the bridge tomorrow. However, once you step foot on that bridge, prepare to die for your foolish decisions, Naruto said as he closed the door. Haku just watched him go before realization hit her, and she quickly left as well. She turned around to see where she had been hidden, but to her surprise her place of captivity wasn't anywhere to be found. She only found herself to be in the forest. She blinked and she just walked, no ran off, into the distance as she picked up her a fresh basket of herbs and went to aid Zabuza. Meanwhile, Naruto appeared from the trees and watched Haku go off. Her speed is impressive, Naruto said to himself, but he had sensed Gozu behind him and turned his head. Aniki, I know that I suggested it, but you've always known the best plans to go ahead with. Did you really think that letting her go would be a good idea? Gozu asked, and Naruto looked up at the stars in the sky. Yes, because I know that Gato will appear if both she and Zabuza appear together. Prepare yourselves to get out of there, understood? Naruto asked, and Gozu nodded. Hi Aniki, Gozu said, and then Naruto turned in the direction of Tsunami's house, and his lingering gaze suddenly made him think of something else. Actually, Gozu, I have an assignment for you and Meizu, Naruto said while Gozu just nodded, still in the dark about this assignment that Naruto was giving him and his little brother to complete. Gato's base. Haku quickly composed herself and opened the door. Immediately she shivered as she felt Zabuza's unnerving eyes on her. Meizu glanced towards her, and Haku did all she could to not seem intimidated by Zabuza as she approached him. Where have you been? Zabuza asked, and Haku looked down in embarrassment. I was collecting herbs for you, Zabuza-sama. I was temporarily captured by the blonde that we met a few days ago. I managed to escape just a few moments ago, Haku said, and Zabuza stared at her for a bit. Haku quickly placed the herbs down and began to work on them while she could feel Zabuza's eyes studying her for any trace of a lie, but she expected that much from him, being suspicious of her. So you killed the brat? Zabuza asked, and Meizu stiffened, but neither of them caught it as Haku was busy preparing the last of Zabuza's medicine, allowing him to do as he wished tomorrow. I could not do so. He was gone and probably hasn't noticed that I just left, Haku stated while Zabuza snorted. Soon the door busted open again, and everyone saw Gozu come through said door. Sorry Zabuza, I couldn't find Haku. Where have you been? Gozu asked irritatedly while Haku retold the story again, giving Gozu the rundown, while he just breathed a sigh of relief. However, Gozu and Meizu shared a look that said that they needed to talk with each other, but now wasn't the time for that. So what are we going to do now? Meizu asked, and Zabuza folded his arms. There is no doubt that the men are going to be at the bridge tomorrow, and I'll bet that Kakashi and his runts will be there to protect them like always. I can take care of Kakashi on my own. Haku will deal with Blondie. Can you do that, Haku? Zabuza asked, and Haku wasn't even sure if she could do that, but she just nodded. Hi Zabuza-sama, Haku answered, and Zabuza went back to what he was talking about. Once Haku takes care of the blonde punk, then she'll deal with the other two. Once I dispatch Kakashi, then I'll cleave the bridge builder. Gozu, Meizu, go work with those two other assholes and take the old man's family. Just as a reassurance, Zabuza said while Gozu and Meizu pretended to be disappointed, but they seemed fine with it and didn't question the orders. That is the plan. Gozu, Meizu, if Haku and I are defeated, then I want you two to take them out. No doubt they will all be exhausted from the fight at least, and that will make them easy to pick off, Zabuza said while everyone just glanced to each other. Gozu and Meizu nodded, and Haku gave Zabuza the last of his medicine. Now get some rest, Zabuza-san. We have a lot of work to do tomorrow, Haku said with a gentle smile, though behind that smile was a sense of foreboding. With Naruto. Naruto opened the door to the house and he noticed that the lights were out. Tsunami and Tazuna must have gone to bed. Naruto walked into the living room and he noticed Rinko, Tuka and Fu curled up against each other as they normally were, on the couch, waiting for their father to come home. Naruto smiled slightly and picked them up into his arms. They each gave a yawn as they recognized the scent that was next to them, but none felt like waking up, so they just decided to continue sleeping. Naruto-kun, Sakura said gently, and Naruto turned his head to see her waiting for him in the kitchen. He sighed and quickly walked over to where she was and saw Kakashi and Sasuke waiting for him. Good, now that we're all here, then we can begin. Tomorrow is going to be a long day and I want you all to be careful. Sakura, how are your hands feeling? Kakashi asked, and Sakura opened and closed them, trying to get a solid feel around. They're stiff, Kakashi-sensei, but thanks to Naruto-kun they aren't as bad as they felt before. Plus this ointment is wonderful, Sakura said, getting Sasuke to turn to Naruto, but not say anything. The Uchiha folded his arms and turned back to his sensei. So what are we going to do about tomorrow? He asked, and Kakashi, leaning against the counter, sighed as he pinched the bridge of his nose. Well, Zabuza is going to be back up to full strength tomorrow, and I have no doubt that this Hunter Nin will be there tomorrow as well, Kakashi said, and Sasuke agreed. It is for such a reason that I believe now would be a time for Sakura to put what she's done to work. Now is time to show what I have taught you, Naruto said, and Sakura gasped while Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Kakashi raised an eyebrow. Well, I was going to have Sasuke do it, but I think Sasuke and Sakura can deal with that Nin a lot better than Sasuke by himself, Kakashi said, and Sasuke growled. He would have to rely on Sakura? The quivering girl who couldn't even do right on the first C-rank mission that they had? Sasuke had nearly his entire life to get to this point, and through just some training with Naruto, Sakura thought she was on his level? Bullshit. I can do it on my own. I do not need Sakura's help. Besides, we'll need someone to guard the old man, Sasuke said, and Kakashi smiled. Well, I was thinking that Naruto's foxes could do it since they were able to do it before allowing the three of you to work together. What do you think, Naruto? Kakashi asked with an eye smile while Naruto folded his arms. There is no need for such things. Rinko, Tuka and Fu will remain here, Naruto said. Sasuke snorted a response and Kakashi stared at the blonde confusingly, but Sakura was the only one who opened her mouth. Why is that, Naruto-kun? You trusted them with Tazuna-san's safety last time. Is it because of the Hunter Nin? Sakura asked, and Naruto shook his head. That is not the case, Sakura. You are correct when you say that I trust them to look after Tazuna-san, but they are to be trusted with a much more pressing matter, Naruto said as Sasuke and Sakura turned to Naruto in confusion, but for Kakashi this was a cleared-up confusion. You mean the protection of Inari and Tsunami-san? Kakashi asked as Sasuke and Sakura gasped in realization. Naruto nodded firmly as he closed his eyes for just a second to sense around the house before opening them again. Correct. Gato is a very corrupt businessman, and businessmen are like shinobi in only 3 particular ways. They die, they work to get ahead in this foolish life, and lastly, they do whatever it takes to win, Naruto said as Sasuke glared and Sakura scowled. Kakashi gave a contemplating look, and he couldn't deny that those were right comparisons. So you think that to win, he will try to come after Tsunami-san and Inari-san? Sakura asked, and Naruto shook his head in an affirmative. Sakura sighed, and so did Sasuke. They both turned to Kakashi, and the Jonin placed a finger to his masked chin. Naruto, are you sure that your kids can handle that? Kakashi asked, and Naruto snorted. If they don't, then I shall accept full responsibility, Naruto said, and walked away from the kitchen, leaving Sasuke to chuckle to himself. The loser trying to act cool for his little pets. What an idiot, Sasuke said, placing his hands in his pockets and walking off. Sakura just shook his head. I wonder where Naruto-kun gets that faith from. He thinks the world of his kids, Sakura said, and Kakashi smiled. Judging from the life that he lived, then I must say that it's a good sign that he is able to put his trust into something, Kakashi thought before he patted Sakura's shoulder. Come on, let's go to bed. It's late and we have a big day tomorrow, Kakashi said while Sakura agreed. Kakashi-sensei, while I was busy doing Naruto-kun's training, what were you and Sasuke-kun learning? Sakura asked, and Kakashi gave an eye smile. Oh, a little of this and a little of that. The usual stuff, he responded while Sakura's sweat dropped and shook her head back and forth. What's that supposed to mean? Well, whatever, it's foolish talk anyway, Sakura thought to herself before walking off. Next morning. Alright, Tsunami, we're going. Be safe, okay? Tazuna asked as Kakashi, Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura picked up their bags as they were ready to go. Sakura shifted uncomfortably as she looked at her hands, but they felt good. No, they felt great, and she never felt better. Sakura balled her fist and opened the door. You be safe as well too, San. Also, Inari, don't you have something to say to everyone? Tsunami asked as Inari blushed and pouted while he walked up to everyone and muttered. I'm sorry for my outburst yesterday. It was rude of me, Inari said to them. We accept your apology. Don't worry. We won't let anything happen to your grandfather, Kakashi said, and Inari just gave a short nod of his head. Naruto glared at the boy for a bit before looking down to see Rinko, Tuka and Fu looking at him pleadingly. The blonde knelt as he scratched their ears. Sorry I can't take you this time. I need the 3 of you to remain here and protect Tsunami-san and Inari-san. I can count on you, can't I? Naruto asked. Rinko glanced at Tuka and the white fox nodded. She then turned to Fu and the black fox nodded as his tail wagged left and right. She then turned back to her father, and the crimson fox smiled. Yes, father. Under, Rinko struggled before looking down. Naruto smiled and patted her head. That's my daughter, Naruto said as he stood up and turned around. He nodded to the rest of his team, and they nodded as well. Everyone followed Tazuna out of the door as they disappeared behind the door, leaving Inari, Tsunami, Rinko, Fu, and Tuka alone. What now? Tuka asked and Rinko shifted. Train? Rinko asked as Tuka shrugged. Fu groaned, but he ran upstairs with his sisters as they began to go about their day. With Team 7. Everyone quickly walked through the town and came to the construction site. The sight they saw made them gasp as they saw over a dozen workers groaning on the ground, some of them not groaning at all as their bodies laid on the ground in pools of blood. What happened? Tazuna asked in shock as he went to help someone. We were taken by surprise. He cut us down, the man coughed, and Naruto quickly pressed his hands to the man's chest. But it was too late as he dropped dead and the blonde narrowed his eyes. So this is the path you chose? Naruto muttered to himself as he stood to his feet. It was in an instant that Kakashi and his squad noticed a thick mist roll in, and they all knew what that meant. Tazuna quickly moved behind Naruto while the blonde bore his eyes forward. Kakashi took the lead and everyone steadied their breathing as they heard chuckling. So we meet again, Kakashi Hatake. You won't be as lucky as the last time, Zabuza's voice echoed, and everyone saw 6 water clones of Zabuza appear around them. So you're the one who did this. I should have known, Zabuza, Kakashi said, and the former Kirinin grinned as he placed his heavy sword on his shoulder. That's right, I did. But let's see if your little brats are up to snuff. Look at the brunette brat. He's trembling, Zabuza said as Naruto and Sakura turned to see Sasuke was indeed trembling. I'm trembling, with excitement, Sasuke said with a smirk while Kakashi gave a smirk of his own. Go on, Sasuke. Show him what you've learned, Kakashi said, and while the Uchiha quickly took out a kunai, and in an impressive burst of speed, he quickly moved through the water clones with ease as his kunai slashed against each one of them, causing them to burst into water and fall to the ground. Sasuke grinned confidently, and soon the real Zabuza came out of hiding with Haku right behind him. What do you think? Zabuza asked Haku, and the young woman spoke through her mask. He's fast. He took out your clones in an instant, which isn't easy to do. However, considering that they're only about 10 or 20% of the original, then it doesn't amount to much, Haku said, and Zabuza gave a grin through his mask while Sasuke snarled. Oh, I'm sure that you'll find that my genin are more than they let on, Kakashi said, and Zabuza chuckled. Well, no matter how much you train them, they are no match for Haku. Show them what I mean, Zabuza said, and Haku quickly took out a kunai and charged them all. Sasuke steeled himself while Naruto held up a hand sign. Sakura, go, Naruto said, and Sakura gasped as the seals on her arms and legs glowed quickly before instantly dispelling. Sakura grinned as she twirled a kunai in her hands and then sped off towards Haku, getting a gasp from Sasuke and Kakashi. Sakura and Haku clashed as white streaks clashed off the other's kunai. Their feet danced together as Sakura glared at the white mask in front of her. Haku stared evenly at Sakura while the pink-haired Kunoichi suddenly backflipped away from a stray kunai. Haku took this chance to throw her own kunai at Sakura, and the girl grinned as she grabbed the handle and threw it back while Haku dodged it by jumping back. She skidded across the bridge while Sakura landed down. This is amazing. I didn't think I could go this fast. I feel as fast as Sasuke-kun, Sakura thought as she quickly appeared in front of Haku, much to the latter's surprise. Sakura cocked her fist back and punched Haku across the face, sending her flying as the ice user landed on the rebound. Sakura widened her eyes and looked down at her hands. She glanced back to Naruto, and she noticed him genuinely paying attention to her training. Haku rubbed her cheek and stood to her feet. You have grown, miss. I did not expect you to be on the same level as Uchiha-san. I shall correct my mistake and come at you seriously, Haku said as she and Sakura clashed again. The two swerved and twirled against the other, as they never seemed to break from the grip of the other. Sakura and Haku clashed again as the sweat dripped down Sakura's face. Did you know? There are shinobi that are known to be capable. They can perform single-handed techniques. I am one of them, Haku said as she quickly did the single-handed hand sign, much to Sakura's surprise, and she then stomped the ground, sending all the water into the air. Hijitsu, Sensatsu Susho, Hidden Jutsu, 1,000 needles of death, Haku shouted as the water quickly turned into thousands of ice needles, and quickly they converged on Sakura as Haku jumped away. Sakura quickly reacted and backflipped away from the needles as they stabbed themselves into the ground. She panted, but she cracked her knuckles and held one hand on the ground. Then let's see how you like it, Shinaro. Doton, Dorikugeishi, Earth Release, Earth Shore Return, Sakura said as her chakra blazed through the bridge and a large stone slab erected in front of her and blocked the rest of the needles that embedded themselves into the wall. Meanwhile, Kakashi was staring in surprise of not only the hunter Nin, but also of Sakura. She had just done like a total 360 on her personality, and Kakashi couldn't have been more amazed at the sight. Sasuke was staring in slight anger and jealousy, but also fascination of how far Sakura had actually come, while Naruto looked on with a hint of pride. Wait, single-handed techniques. It is supposed to be borderline impossible to learn those, Kakashi said as he glared at Zabuza. That's right. Haku is special. She's as talented as anyone else I've seen. She'll kill upon my orders, and she's as fast as I want her to be. Her speed is untraceable to even my eyes, Zabuza said, and Kakashi turned his head. Naruto, are you sure that you can protect Tazuna? Kakashi asked, and Naruto nodded. Kakashi then turned to Sasuke. Go help Sakura, Kakashi ordered, and Sasuke grumbled, but he nodded as he ran off to go and aid his teammate. In that time, Kakashi turned to Zabuza and pulled his headband from over his eye, revealing his Sharingan as he took out a kunai. Ready for round 2, Zabuza? Kakashi asked, and Zabuza chuckled. If you think that it will be so easy as last time, then you're mistaken. I've also learned a thing or two, Zabuza said as their own fight began. On the other side of the bridge, Sakura dodged a sweep kick and rolled across the ground while Haku continued to push her. Sakura cursed and backflipped away, and it was only due to her reactions that she felt Sasuke behind her and performed another backflip as Sasuke appeared from behind her. Haku narrowed her eyes as Sasuke let out a punch, but Haku blocked it with her palm as Sakura landed. Sasuke-kun, Sakura said in surprise while the Uchiha growled. Kakashi told me to help you out. We'll make quick work of this person, Sasuke said, and Sakura just nodded while Haku continued to keep Sasuke at bay. I am not so easy to defeat, she spoke to them both. Sasuke launched a kick in retaliation, but Haku dodged it and jumped away from them both while Sakura and Sasuke stood side by side. Facing them both might prove more difficult than I expected, Haku thought as she continued to face off against Sakura and Sasuke. Back at the house. Let my mother go, Inari shouted while he was pushed to the ground. He growled at the two people in front of him as he rubbed his jaw. Shut the hell up, kid, before we kill you, Zora shouted while Waraji pulled Tsunami outside the door. No! Don't touch my son! Tsunami shouted while Zora growled. Bitch, how about you shut up? He retorted and pulled his blade to Inari's throat. The boy gasped in shock while Tsunami snarled. Leave him alone. If you don't, then I'll bite my tongue and choke on my blood, she said, and Zora growled while Waraji patted him on the shoulder. Zora, we need this bitch alive. You know what Gato said, Waraji said, and Zora snorted as he backed his blade away. You're lucky to have such a caring mother brat. Don't let me see your face again, Zora said as he and Waraji walked out of the house. Inari watched them go and sniffled. He pounded the ground as his tears stained the carpet. It seems it was asinine of me to believe that the son of Kaiser could hold his head high. He is surely tossing in his grave at you for what you do not understand, Naruto said to Inari as the young boy gasped. Inari growled and remembered his late father figure. He glared at the open door as he stood to his feet. He quickly ran outside after his mother and the men, and as soon as he left there was scurrying down the stairs. Zora and Waraji walked away from the house as they were talking to each other, but Zora flinched as a small rock slammed into his head. Both turned around as they saw Inari glaring at them both. Let go of my mother before I go over there and kick your asses, Inari shouted while Zora got a tick mark on his head. Inari, what are you doing? Get out of here, Tsunami shouted, but Inari didn't budge. Zora chuckled darkly as he grabbed the hilt of his sword. I warned you, kid. Now prepare to die, Zora said with a sick smirk across his face. No, I told you to leave him alone. Don't touch my... Tsunami gasped as she was slammed at the back of the neck and knocked unconscious by Waraji. How about you just shut up and sleep for a bit? He asked as Zora charged at Inari. The boy stood unmoving while Zora cackled. You think you're tough? Let's see how tough you are against my blade, he cried out as he swung his sword at Inari. The boy closed his eyes and he recalled some words. The reason I am not afraid of Gato is because I am not afraid to die, Naruto said to him. Inari opened his eyes and he gasped, as did Zora, as they both noticed a large slab of earth between them both. What the hell? Zora growled and he noticed Rinko, Tuka and Fu on top of the large earth shield. Rinko, Tuka, Fu, Inari said in surprise. Fu snarled at Zora while Rinko turned around. We fight. Not lose, Rinko said, and Inari just nodded as Fu jumped off the slab. He quickly slashed Zora's face, getting a yell from the swordsman as he fell to the floor. Tuka opened her mouth as a thick blast of water escaped from it, and quickly formed into 3 water missiles. They slammed against Zora, causing him to cry, and Fu hardened his tail. He quickly swirled his body and slammed Zora in the side as Zora fell to the ground again in pain and held his side. You damn mutts! I'll kill you all! Zora shouted as he grabbed his sword. He quickly swung at Fu, but the black fox rolled out of the way while Rinko glared at Waraji. She jumped down and quickly ran towards the taller man. Having trouble with a bunch of mongrels, Zora? I'll show you how to carve them. Waraji shouted as he swung his sword at Rinko, but she slid under it and quickly unleashed a burst of fire from her mouth as it slammed into Waraji's face. The taller man shouted in pain as he covered his face and dropped Tsunami to the ground. He cursed out loud and Rinko turned her head to see Fu and Tuka quickly taking care of Zora. Rinko yipped to Tuka and she nodded as the two raced off and landed against the lake outside of the house. They stood on top of it as Rinko opened her mouth. Tuka yipped to Fu and he nodded as he quickly channeled his chakra into his paws and quickly slammed the ground again, causing the bridge to tilt as Inari had to shift his balance. Zora and Waraji gasped as they went splashing into the waters near the house while Inari grabbed his mother. Fu yipped to Tuka and Rinko as they nodded. Rinko opened her mouth and unleashed a fire into the water, heating it incredibly as Zora and Waraji screamed to get out. Then it was Tuka's turn as she closed her eyes and channeled her chakra through the water. Quickly the waters began to swirl in a small whirlpool as Zora and Waraji tried to fight the current, but with their injuries and the heat then it was inescapable. Rinko continued to power the fire while Tuka made the water swirl. Both then jumped away as the swirling got bigger and sent the two swordsmen below. Inari gasped as Rinko and Tuka landed back on the ground. "Whoa," Inari said while Rinko, Tuka and Fu shared a smile. They quickly helped Tsunami along with Inari as they pulled her to land. "That was amazing, you guys," Inari said as Rinko scratched her ears. Tuka just gave a friendly smile and Fu yipped. You damn mutts!" Zora shouted as the kids turned around and they snarled as they saw Zora and Waraji climb out of the water. They quickly turned around while Waraji showed the burned half of his face and for Zora, the clawed part of his right eye. Both glared at the kids while Inari gasped. "I'm gonna kill you, brat! You and your little pets!" Waraji shouted and both quickly lunged for Inari and the kids. Inari closed his eyes, but he noticed a paw on his hand from Rinko. "We fight. Not lose," she said again and Inari gasped as Rinko turned back around. Waraji and Zora cackled as they charged them all. The kids were ready for anything as the two swordsmen near them. However, instantly, two chains quickly went sailing through the air as they wrapped around a surprised Zora and Waraji. The chains brought both together as they fell to the floor. "Well, it seems that Aniki was right," someone said while the other chuckled. "Well, I always hated them anyway," the other voice said as Waraji and Zora looked around. "Show yourself, assholes!" Zora shouted, and out of the trees, passing the kids and Inari, was Meizu and Gozu. "What the hell? What is wrong with the both of you?" Waraji shouted / asked as Meizu and Gozu smirked. The seals on their hands burned as Gozu grinned and grabbed Meizu's hand. Inari gasped as he suddenly saw a large flash of lightning wrap across the chains as Gozu threw Meizu forward. Meizu chuckled as the chains wrapped around Waraji's neck and Gozu turned around. "Kid, you might want to close your eyes. There are some things that you just aren't ready to see," Gozu said, and Inari just gulped before he closed his eyes. The kids calmed themselves as Waraji began to choke. "Gato won't stand for this. Are you betraying him?" Waraji coughed out and Meizu snickered. "Betraying him? Oh no. You see, to betray someone you have to be loyal to them in the first place. Don't worry, you won't have to worry about it for long, just know this. You guys messed with the wrong company," Meizu said, and Waraji widened his eyes as did Zora. "Why, you're both—" Zora didn't get to finish as Meizu finished it for him. "Loyal to the damn Bone Exodus Metals workers," Meizu said, and Inari gasped, but kept his eyes closed. Zora and Waraji gulped, and the last thing they saw was a thick flash of lightning as the chains wrapped around each other, and quickly popped their heads off. Both bodies dropped to the ground as Gozu and Meizu turned around. Gozu spotted Rinko and smiled. "Yo, Rinko, remember me?" Gozu asked, and Rinko blinked. She then gasped and quickly ran to Gozu. She yipped happily as she ran circles around his feet. Tuka and Fu seemed confused, but a quick talk from Rinko told them that these guys were with their father. Tuka and Fu looked up while Gozu knelt to Inari. "You can open your eyes now," he said, and Inari did so. "Why, you guys are Exodus Metals workers?" Inari asked, and Gozu nodded with a smile on his face. Meizu disposed of Zora and Waraji's bodies and quickly walked back. Gozu, we don't have much time. Let's get the kid and his mother back into their house, Meizu advised, and Gozu nodded. He quickly picked Tsunami up and they all walked back to the house. Inari just looked at them in shock and awe. The president actually sent people to help out Wave? Inari asked, and Gozu chuckled while Meizu smirked. Kid, the president didn't just send people here. He is here, and let's just say that he is very angry at Gato right now for all the work that went to waste, Meizu said, and Inari gasped again while his eyes bulged out as Gozu and Meizu brought him into his house. Gozu left Tsunami on the couch while Tuka, Rinko, and Fu took up positions around her. Stay here, kid. We'll be right back. Oh, that was pretty cool. You standing up to them. The president would have been pleased, Gozu said as he and Meizu quickly ran away, leaving a shocked Inari, confused Tuka and Fu, and a happy Rinko behind. Back at the bridge. The sounds of fighting could be heard as Naruto cracked his neck and glared forward. It is time that I joined in. Tazuna-san, I shall leave 3 clones to guard you. Is this satisfactory? Naruto asked, and Tazuna nodded. Yeah, kid. Go and help your team, Tazuna said, and Naruto closed his eyes. It is time that we begin, Naruto said, and Kyubi opened up a tired eye. And whatever you say, brat. Like I give a fuck, the fox responded, and mentally, Naruto altered his seals as various clicks and locks could be heard. Naruto's eyes turned red, his whiskers grew more defined, and his eyes squinted. His hair grew more spiky as the blonde suddenly felt a rush of chakra. Naruto turned in the direction of Kakashi and dashed off, leaving a trail of dust in Tazuna's eyes. Meanwhile, Sakura and Sasuke continued to have their own problems, as Sakura threw a kunai at Haku only for it to be blocked. The ice user threw a Saban needle at Sasuke and he ducked out of the way. I will not lie. The 2 of you are exceptional. I see that I must resort to my greatest jutsu, Haku said as Sakura and Sasuke narrowed their eyes. Like I'll let you. Katon, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Sasuke shouted as he sent a rushing fire in Haku's direction, while Sakura quickly punched the ground. Doton, Kyuji Heikiai, Earth Release, Sudden Earth Wave, Sakura hollered as the shock wave of earth began to tear away at the bridge while Haku jumped out of the way. She quickly completed her jutsu and spoke. Hayaton, Makio Hyosho, Ice Release, Demonic Mirroring Ice Crystals, Haku called out as Sasuke and Sakura noticed ice mirrors rise from the water as they blocked the wave of earth and ball of fire as they dispelled away. What? Sakura gasped at the surrounding mirrors of ice as Haku stopped her hand sign. I will show you both real speed, she said as she stepped into the mirrors, each showing her reflection in the next. Sasuke and Sakura cursed as Haku glared at them both. Please surrender. You fought valiantly, but you're now trapped. I don't want to kill you, but if you advance I will have no choice. I will don on the mask of the shinobi and I will kill you both, Haku said to them both. Sakura and Sasuke growled as they both cursed inwardly. Meanwhile, Kakashi clashed with Zabuza as the 2 narrowed their eyes at each other. It seems that Haku has unleashed that jutsu. Your genin don't have a chance in hell now. They're fucked, and so are you. I have your secret. So long as I don't look into your eyes, then I won't be hypnotized by it. It would show me a reflection of myself as if I was looking at myself doing a jutsu. But if I close my mind and predict, then you don't have a chance. I know where you are, Zabuza said, and Kakashi growled. That doesn't mean that you can beat me, he said as the 2 continued to clash. An efficient method, but too easy to manipulate, Naruto suddenly said as Kakashi and Zabuza gasped while the blonde kicked Zabuza in the face, sending him flying into the side of the bridge. Naruto, you're supposed to be guarding Tazuna, Kakashi ordered, and Naruto snorted. I have taken the necessary precautions regarding Tazuna-san. Enough of your senseless worry, Naruto said, and Kakashi just sighed heavily. Truth was, he would have liked Naruto's help. Wait, what is that chakra coming off him? Is that Kyubi? Kakashi thought to himself as Naruto's body radiated with red chakra. Relying on brats now, Kakashi. That's embarrassing, Zabuza said as he quickly came out of the mist charging at Naruto. The blonde quickly turned his head as Zabuza swung his sword to the blonde's neck. Kakashi gasped and Naruto quickly jumped back as he leaned his head down, allowing the blade to pass over his face. Zabuza seemed surprised while Naruto backflipped away. Zabuza growled, but then he had to block a punch from Kakashi as the two continued. Zabuza swung his sword and Kakashi clashed it with a kunai. The two dueled against each other, and they heard a shout. Katan, Dai Enden, Naruto shouted as a great fireball was launched at Zabuza. He quickly stopped Toad Duel and jumped away from Kakashi, giving the Jonin what he wanted as he landed on the ground and kicked Zabuza in the chin. Zabuza growled as he looked down to see Kakashi's narrowed eye at him. He then turned and noticed Naruto's deep, red eyes. Zabuza twirled his body in the air and flung his sword in Naruto's direction. The blonde dodged it and looked up to see Zabuza coming down on him. He flipped away, and as he did, he and Kakashi suddenly heard shouting and screaming in the direction of where Sakura and Sasuke were. It begins for them. The worst hell they could ever imagine, Zabuza said as Kakashi and Naruto turned back to Zabuza. They noticed Zabuza in their path to Sasuke and Sakura as he smirked. Neither of you is getting past me, he said, and as Naruto and Kakashi narrowed their eyes. Meanwhile, Sasuke and Sakura covered their bodies as Saban lodged themselves into their skin. Sasuke snarled and so did Sakura as they both tried to escape, but Haku's speed inside of the mirrors was too fast as Sakura was kicked to the ground and Sasuke was stabbed in the leg. They both groaned as Sasuke cursed. Sakura rubbed her lip as the Uchiha quickly formed a hand sign. Sasuke-kun, what are you doing? Sakura asked, but Sasuke didn't answer. Katan, Gokaku no Jutsu, Sasuke shouted as a heavy fireball escaped from his mouth and slammed into the ice mirrors as Sakura started to see what he was doing. The fire mixed with the ice and Sasuke soon stopped his assault, and both were surprised as the ice never melted. A good tactic, but this isn't regular ice that it can be melted by a low-ranked Katan technique, Haku said, and Sasuke snarled. Haku immediately moved out of her mirror and quickly raced through the area as Sasuke and Sakura were forced to block again. Sakura quickly dodged an array of needles and tried to backflip away. Sasuke couldn't move as fast, but his eyes tried to keep up with Haku's movements. They went left and right as the Uchiha cursed. Where is she hiding? I can't see her move, Sasuke thought to himself. However, he was pulled from his thoughts as he noticed Sakura slam the ground. Doton, Shahai Rekko, Earth Release, Earth Shielding, Sakura called out as Sasuke and Haku noticed a large slab of earth cover over the pink-haired Kunoichi and the Uchiha as they were encased in the barrier jutsu. Haku narrowed her eyes behind her mask. An ingenious move. Looks like it came down to waiting. Sasuke and Sakura panted as the latter wiped her chin. She quickly started to take out the Senbon as Sasuke did the same. Good thinking, Sakura, Sasuke said, and Sakura widened her eyes. That was the first compliment that she had even been given by Sasuke. The Uchiha didn't seem to notice, but Sakura blushed and scratched her cheek. Well, we had to get away, and us being out in the open wasn't helping. We're in a bind, Sasuke-kun, Sakura said, and Sasuke hated to admit it, but she was right in that regard, and the Uchiha, with Sakura's help, took out the Senbon in his body as well. If only I could follow her movements, Sasuke said, and Sakura nodded. She's faster than Naruto-kun when he's sparring with me. I know he was holding back for me, but this is incredible, Sakura thought to herself. She then looked at her fist and balled it. If I could just get another good hit on her, then I'm sure I could get us out of here, Sakura said while Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Why can't you just run out? Your speed was decent enough for that to be possible, Sasuke said, and Sakura snorted. It appears that Naruto-kun put a time limit on my speed. He placed gravity seals on my arms and legs, and they restrict how much power and speed I can bring out. He said this was necessary because if I let it go all at once, then my mind and eyes wouldn't be able to adjust to the new settings and I'd more than likely hurt myself. As far as I know, with a pulse of chakra I can turn them on and off 3 times. Naruto-kun gave me that ability to do so just now. I can only use it for 5 minutes. 3 of those which were used for the last fight before I placed it back on. I have 2 more minutes before they stay on against my will, Sakura said, and Sasuke grumbled. So if you catch her, then in those 2 minutes you can turn off the seals and hit her with your best shot, right? Sasuke asked, and Sakura nodded. The Uchiha sighed as he looked at the protective barrier. Fine, can you distract her? Sasuke asked, and Sakura tried to stand. For as long as you want me to. Naruto-kun's trained me harder than that. I just want to prove that I can be of use to the both of you, Sakura said, and Sasuke just snorted before giving a short nod. Good, then I'll try to follow her movements, and give you the time to act accordingly. Open the barrier, Sasuke said, and Sakura slowed her breathing as she placed her hands on the ground. The rock walls began to vanish and Sasuke quickly went through another session of hand signs. Katan, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Sasuke shouted, and Haku gasped as the walls opened and out came a fierce fire as it slammed into her ice. I have told you that such a tactic won't work, Haku said, but Sasuke didn't stop and she quickly noticed Sakura dash for the outside of the ice pillars. Haku narrowed her eyes before she quickly started to move as she flung 3 Senbon at Sakura's legs. Sakura, watch out! Sasuke warned and Sakura quickly stopped and went to the left, dodging the attacks. Haku quickly moved back into some ice as she stared at Sasuke, her eyes watching his move left and right, looking for every pattern. He's observing me. How can he do that? I should be faster than the human eye can follow, Haku thought as she noticed Sakura making another move for the outside. Haku threw a Senbon as one caught Sakura's leg. The girl groaned against the pain and continued to move before she was kicked away by Haku. Sakura quickly stretched out her hands and landed on the ground in a handstand before doing a backflip to avoid the damage. She wiped a trail of blood from her lips before she dashed off again. When she did that, Sasuke did the same in the opposite direction as Haku watched them go. It is useless, she said as she quickly ran for Sakura. A slash appeared on Sakura's arm and on her clothes before she was kicked away and Haku moved for Sasuke. She quickly threw a Senbon at the running Uchiha. It stabbed him in the leg and the Uchiha growled as he was pushed away also. Almost there. Almost, Sasuke said, his eyes dashing left and right. Time started to slow for him as he noticed Haku beginning to go for Sakura. Sasuke quickly took out a kunai and flung it at her. Haku noticed the attack and dodged it before going back into her mirrors. Sakura gasped, and Sasuke smirked. How are you able to keep up with me? Haku asked, and Sasuke chuckled as he crackled his knuckles. It's simple. I have awakened, Sasuke said as Sakura and Haku stared in surprise of Sasuke's red, single Tomoe eyes. The Sharingan, Haku said as Sasuke smirked. Sakura, on your feet. It's time for us to get started, Sasuke said, and Sakura agreed. She quickly stood to her feet as they each turned towards Haku. On the opposite sides, Naruto blocked Zabuza's blade with his kunai as the sparks flared off the other. Zabuza glared at Naruto, while Naruto's red eyes glared back. That's some chakra you have. Not bad for a gaki, Zabuza said, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. Think what you will, but you will see the cost of your impudent actions soon, Naruto said while Zabuza raised an eyebrow. He looked past the blonde and he noticed Kakashi quickly running for them both. Zabuza, with his strength, pushed Naruto away, but not like he thought, as Naruto was quick on the rebound and performed an aerial backflip as Kakashi appeared under him. Zabuza quickly assumed his role to block Kakashi as he tightened his grip on his sword. He raised his arms into the air as he was prepared to bring it down, but Zabuza found resistance as he noticed the same wires holding his sword in place. He saw the trail of wires go from his sword to Naruto's hands as the blonde snapped his fingers. The wires blazed in fire as they wrapped around Zabuza's sword. Kakashi took that opportunity and quickly punched Zabuza across the face, sending him skidding back while his sword dropped to the ground. Kakashi and Naruto stood side by side as the blonde folded his arms. Your struggle is fruitless, Naruto said as Zabuza scowled. I don't need a brat to lecture me, Zabuza said with a grin across his face, and Naruto gasped as he quickly grabbed Kakashi's hand. Futon, Atsugai, Naruto shouted, and a fierce blaze of wind went through the area as it crashed into a water clone of Zabuza that had been behind Kakashi. The Jonin breathed a sigh of relief. Nice save, Naruto, Kakashi said as he held his right hand. Naruto, can you hold him for me? This will only take a minute. We have to get to Sasuke and Sakura, he said, and Naruto closed his eyes. Very well. Do not be senseless with your timing, Naruto said, and before Kakashi could retort, the blonde dashed for Zabuza and the Kirin cursed as he grabbed his sword. Don't underestimate me, Zabuza shouted as he ran at Naruto. The blonde quickly bit his thumb and unsealed a shiny, black, short sword from his jacket. His chakra coated the blade in a red color as he and Zabuza clashed against each other. Zabuza snarled while Naruto glared at him. "How many?" he asked, and Zabuza looked down at him. "How many workers have you killed following Gato's orders?" Naruto asked, and Zabuza chuckled. "It hardly matters to you. You'll be joining them soon enough," he said, and the blonde growled as he, much to Zabuza's surprise, quickly lunged his body forward and parried Zabuza's sword before piercing him in the chest. "You've got a lot to answer for with your ill-considered actions," Naruto said, and Zabuza chuckled. "You're right. Like you're one to talk," he said as he dispelled in water. Naruto widened his eyes and Zabuza chuckled behind him. "The demon of the mist always gets his kill," Zabuza shouted as he swung his sword through Naruto's body. The blonde was sliced in half before he fell to the ground in a bunch of earth. Zabuza snarled as the rocks of earth swept away, revealing a seal. The seal lit up as Zabuza quickly remained immobile. "Hurry, Hatake. This will only last for 2 minutes," Naruto said, and Zabuza managed to turn his head as he noticed Kakashi's right hand cackle in lightning. "That's fine, Naruto. I'm just going to show Zabuza my one and only original technique. Just like I did with Kagura," Kakashi said as the chakra around him suddenly became visible. Zabuza gasped, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. Back in the ice dome, Sasuke instructed Sakura as he watched out for Haku's movements. Sakura ran to the side, backflipped away, and dodged across the ground to get away. Sasuke cursed as his body wasn't able to move as fast as his eyes. He quickly blocked a rain of Saban with his own kunai, and he noticed Haku quickly lunge from the mirrors. Sasuke quickly dashed forward as he threw a kunai, but Haku dodged away from it, and Sasuke turned to the side. "Sakura now!" he ordered, and Haku turned forward as she saw Sakura's hand quickly reach for her. Haku gasped as she slid across the ground and made a sharp turn back to her mirrors. "Oh no, you don't!" Sakura said as she grabbed Haku's wrist. Sakura's chakra pulsed as she tightened her fist, and her seals dispelled again. "This is gonna hurt, Shinaro." "Doton Yugansuri, Earth Release, Warped Crossing," Sakura shouted as she quickly slammed her fist into Haku's face. The mask quickly cracked as Sakura sent Haku flying through the air. Sasuke gasped while Sakura grinned. She panted as Haku rolled across the ground. The mirrors quickly began to shatter as Sasuke chuckled. Sakura smirked to herself and Haku stumbled to her feet. "Zabuza-sama, I am no match for these two," Haku said as Sakura and Sasuke came walking out of the ice dome. "You're finished," Sasuke said, and both watched as Haku's mask began to fall to the ground and crack. Haku touched her cheek as she noticed Sakura just looking at her. "Then as shinobi you must kill me. I am no longer fit to be at Zabuza-sama's side." "I am a broken tool," Haku said as Sasuke raised an eyebrow. He didn't know what she was talking about, but he didn't care about some sob story. However, he noticed Sakura walk a bit forward. She then bowed to Haku as the two brunettes looked at her curiously. "Naruto-kun has taught me that when facing anyone, loss or victory, I acknowledge my opponent as a sign of respect," Sakura said, and Haku gave a smile. "Naruto-san, huh? I would have liked to have known him better if I actually had the time," Haku said in her thoughts as Sakura balled her fists. She trembled, but quickly shook her head. "Next time, steel your mind, Haruno-san. Forget everything else and focus on what's in front of you. The first kill is always the hardest," Naruto said, and Sakura quickly ran at Haku, leaving Sasuke in the dust. "Mother, father, I will join you soon," Haku said in her thoughts as she waited for Sakura to deliver the blow. However, her ears twitched as she heard something and narrowed her eyes dangerously. Haku stared in front of her as she noticed Sakura's fist and quickly backflipped away from it. Sakura and Sasuke gasped as Haku stood back up. "I am sorry. It seems that I still have one more task for myself," Haku said as she dashed away, leaving Sakura and Sasuke confused before they quickly ran after her. On the other side of the bridge, Kakashi looked forward at the trapped Zabuza and turned to Naruto. "Naruto, are you sure about this plan?" Kakashi thought to himself, and the blonde just nodded while Kakashi nodded back. "Say goodbye, Zabuza. You're through." "Raikiri," Kakashi shouted as he dashed for Zabuza. Zabuza narrowed his eyes at the incoming Jonin, while Kakashi quickly raced across the bridge towards the former Kyuri Jonin. Naruto narrowed his eyes further as he dropped a seal tag to his hands from his sleeves. Kakashi was mere inches from Zabuza as he held out his hand. Naruto suddenly opened his eyes and dashed forward as Kakashi widened his eyes to see Haku in front of Zabuza. Zabuza grinned while Kakashi cursed. "I can't stop," he said to himself as Haku steeled herself. However, she gasped as she was pushed out of the way and turned to see Naruto glaring at her. She then looked down and noticed she was strapped with a paralysis seal as she was sent rolling across the ground. "No, Zabuza-sama," Haku said as Zabuza widened his eyes. Kakashi was still going, but he noticed that his technique suddenly stopped as he bashed Zabuza in the chest. Kakashi blinked, and so did Zabuza as Kakashi looked down. He noticed wires strapped to his arm as lightning flashed from them, and he noticed them trail to Naruto's gloves. Kakashi was surprised as he looked at Naruto. "He redirected my right arm through the wires, not giving me the power that I possibly would have had to kill Zabuza," Kakashi thought to himself. Just what kind of person was Naruto anyway? Naruto held Haku as he glared at her. "I have told you. If you are a tool, then you do not choose how you die," Naruto said, and the seal activated as Haku was instantly shocked, making her fall unconscious. He then turned back as he noticed Zabuza glaring at them both. Naruto then looked down as he noticed the seal at Zabuza's feet disappeared, and Zabuza wasted no time in trying to cleave Kakashi as the one-eyed Jonin jumped out of the way from his attack. Zabuza huffed while Kakashi jumped back. "Zabuza, it's over." "You've lost," Kakashi said, and Zabuza snarled. "No, it's you who lost." "I cannot lose," Zabuza shouted as he ran at Kakashi. The Jonin glared at his opponent before a swift uppercut went into his face, knocking Zabuza back. "Why am I so tired?" "I haven't used that much chakra," Zabuza said as Naruto laid the unconscious Haku down to the ground. "It is because you failed to notice that my seal was also sucking away your chakra for those few minutes." "You are no threat, foolish man," Naruto said, and Zabuza growled. "Why? Why can't I keep up with you?" Zabuza panted, and Kakashi closed his eye as he brought his headband down. "Zabuza, that's enough fighting." "It's over," Kakashi said as Zabuza growled at them both. He heavily panted on one knee as Sakura and Sasuke quickly appeared. "Naruto-kun, Kakashi-sensei, are you guys alright?" Sakura asked, and Kakashi took a deep breath to catch himself. "We're fine, Sakura. We just won," Kakashi said, and Sakura noticed Zabuza still panting, and she then noticed the unconscious Haku to the side. "So we're done?" Sakura asked, and Kakashi nodded. He gave an eye smile, but he noticed Naruto's eyes dart to the left. "Or I could be wrong," Kakashi said as everyone heard the sounds of a cane tapping. "Some demon of the mist. You can't even do one simple job." "Well, it's a good thing that I have no more use for you," someone said, and Zabuza turned around as he noticed Gato appearing out of the mist. "Gato, what is the meaning of this?" Zabuza growled out while Gato snickered. "I find it to be tedious to keep paying for your services, so I won't anymore. These guys are much more efficient than you," Gato said as Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi noticed a large multitude of bandits right behind Gato. Tazuna snarled as Gato turned a glance to him. "I'll make sure to give you a fitting death," Gato said, and he then turned to see Haku on the floor. "Oh, so the bitch bit the dust, did she? Well, serves her right. She broke my hand after all," Gato said while Zabuza casted a murderous glare at his former employer. "Well, Kakashi, it seems that our current predicament is handled. The bridge builder is safe," Zabuza said, and Kakashi agreed. "Still, that appears to be quite the problem, doesn't it?" Kakashi asked, and Zabuza snorted. "A bunch of useless bags of flesh? Not likely," he spoke, and he just finished talking as Gato opened his mouth. "Anyone who kills both Zabuza and the bridge builder will be paid triple what I'm paying you now. Get them," Gato said with a grin as the multitude of bandits and thugs grinned ear to ear. "We have nothing against you. This is just business," one of them shouted as they ran at them. Sakura and Sasuke assumed their fighting stances while Kakashi gave Zabuza his blade. Zabuza looked at it and cursed. His hands were paralyzed at the moment. They all looked at the incoming onslaught, but everyone gasped and widened their eyes as Naruto passed through them and walked towards the group. Naruto, what are you doing? Get back here! Kakashi shouted, and he noticed Naruto's hands drip to his sides. Sakura stared worryingly while Sasuke glared. Kakashi and Zabuza waited with anticipation while someone raised his sword over Naruto's head. You're dead, brat! He shouted as he brought his sword down. The bandits chuckled as they watched, but everyone was confused when he suddenly stopped. They all then noticed Naruto walk past him and continue to head for what his eyes were looking at. It was then that everyone noticed the man drop his sword, and they all grimaced as his head popped off, then his arms, his legs, and the rest of his body dropped to the ground. Kakashi and Zabuza just watched while Sakura swallowed the lump in her throat. Sasuke stared on with a scowl across his face while the men quickly advanced. Five brought their weapons down against Naruto as the blonde suddenly blurred out of sight. He appeared behind them, and they exploded in blood as Naruto kept walking. A few men gasped as they backed away. What is this brat? Someone asked while others shook his head. Gato stared in shock as he noticed the cold, seemingly dead eyes that were looking directly at him. He never stared at any of the bandits, but kept his eyes on his form. Like a hawk waiting to catch a mouse, his eyes never left his form. What are you sacks of shit waiting for? Kill that brat! Gato shouted, and the men snapped out of their stupor as they all charged at the blonde. Naruto lifted his head, and Gato could see the slight red color on them as he wondered if he was imagining it. Naruto-kun, look out! Sakura shouted, but Team 7, Zabuza, and Tazuna watched in surprise as Naruto suddenly blurred and appeared in front of Gato, both staring in each other's eyes. Gato stepped back in shock as he looked past the blonde. Oh, what are you idiots doing? Kill him! Kill this boy! Gato shouted, but he noticed them unmoving. Your men cannot hear your voice. They have long since departed from this world, Naruto said as the bandits suddenly bursted in blood and dropped to the ground one after the other as the clattering of weapons was heard. Tazuna wretched while Sakura watched the scene uncomfortably. Sasuke stiffened while Kakashi and Zabuza just watched the action, impressed. Kakashi, I don't know what you're teaching your genin, but damn, you must be a sadist, Zabuza said while Kakashi didn't even respond. He was too shocked to even try. Naruto and Gato glared at each other, and Gato fell to the floor. He quivered under Naruto's eyes as the president of Exodus Metals finally met the president of Gato's shipping. I have desired your appearance for a long time, Gato-san, Naruto said as he unstrapped his gloves and sealed them away. W8 kid, you got spunk, okay? Let me hire ya. What do you want? Money? Women? Power? I can give you all of these things, Gato said, but he noticed Naruto's eyes get even colder. He stared at the man in front of him. So much. I have lost so much because of your feeble-minded greed. Is it that important to you? Having money? Naruto asked, and Gato wiped a bead of sweat from his face. What are you talking about? I don't even remember you. What have you lost? I can replace it, Gato said, and Naruto closed his eyes. Human lives aren't replaceable, ignorant man. Seeing you squirm as the president of your company, it's a juvenile gesture. I remember how Wave used to look, and it was nothing as it is now. You have a lot to answer for, Naruto said, and Gato nodded. What do I have to do? He asked, and Naruto grabbed his head and squeezed it ferociously, his eyes not leaving Gato's form while the man screamed as he dropped his cane and grabbed Naruto's hand with his own to get him off. You executed a good man, no, a great man. A man that I considered to be of worthy respect. I have heard what you've done. Naruto then leaned close to Gato's ear as he stared forward. Did Kisa deliver you a message? Naruto asked, and Gato widened his eyes. Trust me, Gato. Enjoy yourself as much as you can. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, or it might not even be next month. But do you know what happened to the last person who crossed our president? Kisa asked and licked her lips. Well, let's just say that there is a term now called quadruple jointed. It's even better than being double jointed, you know, Kisa said before she gave Gato a goodbye with her associates. Gato gasped in front of him as he turned a shivering eye towards the spiky, blonde-haired genin. Why you're, he sputtered, and Naruto gripped his head harder. I lost a lot of good men and women to you. To see a country that I placed under my protection put into such a position is unforgivable, Naruto said, and Gato gulped. Don't you even think about it. The balance of power will be, Gato groaned as Naruto silenced him with more pressure to his head. I have no doubt, but it would be ill-advised for me to keep you around. You will be reminded of your place, Naruto said, and Gato gulped. Please don't kill me. Please. I'll do anything you ask. Please have mercy. He pleaded, and Naruto stopped to look at him. How many of my civilians have asked this of you? How many have pleaded for mercy? How many have asked for you to spare them? Give them more time for payments? Not take their loved ones? You have no need for a company for where you will go. You will have no need for the money from it where you will go, Naruto said, and Gato gulped. What are you going to do? He asked, and Naruto closed his eyes. Do you hear them? The son of Kaiza has rallied wave. If I don't kill you, then they shall. Who would you rather die by? Them or me? Naruto asked, and Gato weighed his options. Which didn't last that long. You, he said, and Naruto nodded. It was fast, but screaming assaulted Team 7, Zabuza and Tazuna's ears as Naruto lunged two kunai into Gato's eye sockets. Gato rolled on the floor in pain while Naruto just looked down at him. I have killed you, Naruto said, and Gato screamed. He didn't register the blonde while Naruto turned around. If you see, then you believe. If you do not see your death, then you won't believe it. I shall leave your fate to the people, Naruto said, leaving Gato in agony as he made his way back to his group. Uzumaki-san! Someone shouted, and Naruto looked past his team to see the people of Wave with their best weapons, aka gardening tools, ready to fight to the death if they needed to, as Inari stood before Naruto. The blonde looked down, and Inari held his head down. Forgive me. Exodus did come and help. They saved my mother and myself. We're not afraid anymore, Naruto-san. We'll show Gato how strong we are, Inari said, and Naruto looked down. Is revenge what you people desire? Once blood has been on your hands, then it will never be erased, Naruto said, and they all showed him their want. We'll accept it, Naruto-san. We'll accept the consequences wholeheartedly, someone said, and Naruto nodded. Very well. Your desire is over there, ready to crumble like a dog beneath your heels. Attain your wish, Naruto said, pointing, and people looked past him to see Gato squirming on the ground as he tried his best to get the kunai from his eye sockets. He's down. Gato's down. Gato's down. Get him! Jichi shouted, and the men hollered as they all charged at the blind Gato. Naruto grabbed Inari and shielded his eyes. You have done your part. You have done well. Blood is not something that you are ready to face just yet, Naruto said as he guided Inari away, but Inari could still hear the shouts. For Kaiza-san! For my husband! For my wife! For my children! People shouted as they crowded around Gato while Kakashi picked up Haku. Sakura and Sasuke snorted as they walked off while Zabuza followed him. Tazuna just stayed to watch the sight and then looked into the sky. Your death has been avenged, Kaiza, Tazuna said to himself as tears fell down his face. That night, the town was up in celebration as a large party was held. Tsunami had woken and went to join, and so did Inari as he played with his friends. People hung Gato's corpse to a cross and lit it on fire as they slowly watched him burn, fueled by the countless sticks and stones that they could find. The street lights were blazing as no one was afraid to go outside and enjoy themselves. There wasn't much in the way of food, but people had fished and roasted the fish now that they didn't have to restrict themselves to selling them for Gato's payments. People pulled out drinks in all the stops. Nothing was wasted, well, except the people. However, Team 7 couldn't enjoy it as they were all at Tazuna's house now. Ouch! Damn it, Dobe, be more gentle! Sasuke grumbled while Naruto quickly took out another Senbon needle. Man up, Uchiha. You've probably been through worse, Naruto said as he tied a bandage around Sasuke's arm. That takes care of you, Sakura and Hitaki, Naruto said as Sakura's light sleeping could be heard. She didn't even care at the moment. She just wanted to go to sleep. Man, Naruto, you're just saving everyone today, aren't you? Kakashi asked while Naruto snorted. You should at least learn such things yourself, Hitaki. There may come a time when I'm not around to help you, Naruto replied while Kakashi's sweat dropped, but he agreed. Sasuke just snorted and looked off in some random direction. It didn't matter to him, he got his wish. He unlocked his Sharingan, and now he was unstoppable. So what are you going to do? Kakashi asked as laying down next to him was Zabuza and a still unconscious Haku. No idea. No doubt I'll have Kiri on my ass unless I can do something, Zabuza said, and Kakashi sighed while Naruto knelt towards Zabuza and began to work on him as well. I hope you'll be alright. We're no longer enemies, so I guess we have no need to fight, Kakashi said, and Zabuza just looked at the ceiling. He then turned to Naruto. How long is Haku going to be unconscious? He asked, and Naruto snorted. Do you care for her well-being? Naruto asked, and Zabuza snorted. What the fuck? Of course not, he said, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. I saw it. You had a brief look of sadness when you were ready to cut her down. Feeling something for someone is not weakness, Naruto said, and Zabuza snorted. Kakashi took notice of those words and held his head down thinking about them. This wasn't an action that Naruto missed as he spared it a glance before going back to what he was doing. Whatever. So what if it's like that? Haku knows how to take care of herself. I did train her after all, Zabuza said to him while Naruto just barely gave the notice a recognition. I agree. She has proven efficient in her endeavors. Because of her, Sakura has shown considerable growth as a kunoichi. I offer my gratitude, Naruto said, and Zabuza grumbled. You really do change a lot, brat. You're a weird one, he said, and Naruto just shrugged it off. I would rather not hear such things from you, Naruto said, and Zabuza pouted but said nothing as Naruto finished fixing him up and then went over to Haku. She didn't have her parents to look after her. She told me of her life and I pretended not to care, but I did listen. Her father was a bastard as Kiri began the bloodline purge. She and her mother were caught in it since her father warned the village of it. She survived and was found by me. Just know this, brat. Haku might be a tool to me, but she's made me proud, Zabuza said, and Naruto walked over to Haku. He looked down at her and narrowed his eyes. I believe that she knows this now, Naruto said, and Zabuza widened his eyes. Thank you, Zabuza-sama. I am proud to have been trained by you and allowed to stay at your side, Haku said, opening her eyes, and Zabuza growled. Damn it, brat. You could have told me that she was awake. Zabuza shouted, and Naruto snorted. You are a Jonin-level shinobi. You should be aware of your surroundings, Naruto said while Zabuza grumbled again while Kakashi chuckled. Why are we helping those two? They tried to fucking kill us just this afternoon. Sasuke growled while Naruto snorted. Yesterday's enemy is today's ally. If you are unwilling to compromise what you hold, then alliances cannot be forged, Naruto said, working over Haku, and Kakashi nodded, agreeing with the blonde while Sasuke just pouted. Naruto-san, if I may be so bold, do you think you could show me how to make some of this medicine? This is amazing, Haku said, and Naruto glanced to her before he looked down. Very well. You'll need it for later, Naruto said, and Haku wondered what he meant by that, but said nothing as she just laid her head down on the floor. After nearly an hour of medical care, Naruto finished up everyone and they were calmly sleeping except for Naruto and his kits. The blonde was currently scratching their ears much to their joy as they each smiled at him while Naruto smiled back. You have all performed wonderfully. Goza and Meizu told me how all three of you have done. I couldn't be more proud of all three of you, Naruto said as he kissed Rinko, Tuka and Fu on top of their heads. Rinko nuzzled to Naruto's neck while Tuka rolled up on his lap. Fu was more eager as he managed to get to Naruto's head and rest in his father's hair. Naruto lightly chuckled. It was only times like this that he would ever show a real smile. It was for those who long since earned it. Ahem, Naruto-san. Naruto stopped smiling as he and his kits turned around to see Tsunami coming into the living room. He looked at her for a second before continuing to stroke his hands through his kit's ears. You're still awake? I take it your celebration is still going on, Naruto said, and Tsunami chuckled. Nothing gets past you, Naruto-san. People are actually so free that if you are drunk and sleeping in the streets, Tsunami said, and Naruto twitched, but he didn't say anything about it. You are not joining them? He asked, and Tsunami walked over and softly petted Fu, which Naruto didn't seem to mind. He felt no hostile intent from Tsunami, so he just decided to let it go. I don't usually drink. Plus someone has to drag my father back home, so it might as well be me, Tsunami said before she quickly sat in front of Naruto. The only thing lighting the room was the ceiling lamp. I see, Naruto responded. He then noticed Tsunami reach forward and grab his hands. Naruto raised an eyebrow as she took them and smiled. Naruto-san, thank you. From the bottom of my heart I mean it. Thank you for what you and your team have done for my family and Wave, Tsunami said, and Naruto looked down at her hands. Sudden warmth and comfort. The blonde just stared at them, and a small frown appeared on his face before he took his hands from Tsunami's and reached into his pouch. He pulled out a kunai and placed it on the table. I am not sure if you can thank me. As his wife, you have a right to know this, Naruto said, and Tsunami raised an eyebrow. Tsunami-san, I am the president of Exodus Metals, Naruto said, and Tsunami twitched. Rinko, Tuka and Fu quickly looked to Tsunami and back to their father while the room stayed silent. The silence was deafening for both, but Naruto allowed that to sink in while Tsunami suddenly opened her mouth. Naruto-san, what are you talking about? You're only a few years older than Inari. How could you be the president of? Tsunami stuttered as she looked into Naruto's eyes. No hints of laughter, no hints of lies, and no hints of a joke. Tsunami had a knack for telling when people were lying. It's how she had been able to stay alive quite a few times. Also, her woman's intuition was telling her to listen, so she decided. Kaiza-sen was one of my workers. I met him about 3 or 4 years ago. He was one of the first members of my company. I told him that he could have a good position, but he turned it down, saying that his life was with the sea. A fascinating man he was. Naturally, I asked him to keep this a secret merely because the world is not ready for such news. There are only a handful of people who realize that I am truly the president. I have a person that I trust the most. Her name is Kisa, and she runs the company in my stead, handing me the important documents that need to be looked over. I had heard of Kaiza-san's death, and I would like to express my sincerest apologies, Naruto said, and Tsunami widened her eyes. Why are you telling me this? She asked, and Naruto looked down at the table. Everyone in my company is my responsibility. From myself down to the last worker. I am responsible for Kaiza-san's death, and I would understand if you chose to take the kunai and end my life if you're angry with me for this. Kisa told me that Kaiza, no matter how much you, Tazuna-san, or Inari asked, he never told you who I was. Truly, he was a very great man. I have told you because it is your business to know. I await your decision, Naruto said, and his kids tensed. They glanced to each other, and Tsunami looked at the kunai, and then at Naruto. Is it true that you couldn't have had your company do something? Tsunami asked, and Naruto sighed. I will not say that it would be foolish if we just did so, but I tried to believe in the consequences of such an action. If I had given the order, then it would have been dangerous for Wave, who would have been caught in the crossfire, and it would be a war where I doubt that you would be a country still. For the people living here and for this country and the potential that I see in it, I had to stay my hand and strike from within. Which is what 2 men of mine did in order to save you, Naruto said, and Tsunami nodded. That's right. Inari told me about that. So, you're responsible, are you? Tsunami asked, and Naruto nodded. She looked at the kunai and closed her eyes. Naruto just watched her, and he noticed tears fall to the table. Was Kaiza a good employee? She asked, and Naruto held his head down. It is wise to say that he was the most loyal to my company, which is why I trust his wife with this information, Naruto said, and Tsunami quickly grabbed his hands again, pushing the kunai out of the way. Then I say thank you once again, Naruto-san. Thank you for telling me, thank you for being kind to Kaiza and to Wave. Thank you for personally coming down here and helping us. Nothing could make me happier. You have already cleared your responsibility of it, Tsunami said, and Naruto sighed. Thank you, Tsunami-san. Kaiza-san was indeed a lucky man to have you at his side, Naruto said while Tsunami blushed. But my work is not finished here. I have plans for this country, and I plan on getting it back to where it was headed in the first place. However, I would like it if you would, Naruto wanted to say, but Tsunami stopped him. Keep it a secret? Of course, Naruto-san. Inari probably isn't ready for such information, and Two-san is too drunk. Your secret is safe with me, Tsunami said, and Naruto blinked. That wasn't what I wanted to ask you, but I appreciate it, Naruto said while Tsunami blinked. What would you like? She asked, and Naruto looked out the window. I plan on bringing the Exodus influence back into this country since Gato has been eliminated. I plan on adding Gato's shipping with Exodus since he's gone, and I'd rather not just let it stay there and collect dust. That's too big a job for Kisa to handle by herself, and I would like it if the citizens of Wave had someone familiar running the shipping lines for Exodus, Naruto said while Tsunami widened her eyes. Naruto-san, are you asking that Naruto turned to her for a moment before looking out the window. You meet all the qualifications of what I come to expect, Tsunami-san. I know that Wave can prosper if it is you, Naruto said, and Tsunami gasped. And Naruto-san, I don't know. That's a large responsibility for me to just take suddenly. How can you be okay with it? Tsunami asked, and Naruto placed his elbows on the table. Because Kaiser recommended you. Long before I really knew you, he told me about you. I was very much interested, and Kaiser told me of how you could benefit the company since you went to school for business and marketing, Naruto said, and Tsunami was easily surprised that her late husband had recommended her to the head himself. She looked down and scratched her cheek. Naruto-san, this is amazing. I'm flattered, but how am I going to be protected if something like Gato happens again? Tsunami asked, and Naruto tapped his fingers on the table. Rest assured, Tsunami-san. You will be well protected. I know of 2 people who I can count on, Naruto said, and Tsunami suddenly breathed easily. This is amazing. Well, if you're fine with me, then I would like to get to know the company that Kaiser put so much trust in, Tsunami said, and she looked down to see Naruto holding out his hand with a small smile. Tsunami smiled back and she grabbed it, then shook it. They had a deal. Next afternoon, Naruto traversed the halls of Gato's base along with Zabuza and Haku. Naruto had been given free rein to do as he wished for the day, and this was what the blonde had decided. So is there a reason that you brought us all the way back here? Zabuza asked, and Naruto looked at the empty rooms. He opened and closed the door before doing the same thing to those across the hall. That is right. This morning Haku-san informed me of the reason why you worked for Gato. I already knew it, but her confirmation makes it easier, Naruto said, and Zabuza glanced to Haku as looked down at the ground sheepishly while Naruto turned around. You wish to plan another attack on the Mizukage, is that correct? Naruto asked, and Zabuza folded his arms. His tyranny must be stopped. The Yondaime Mizukage needs to be killed, Zabuza said, and Naruto turned around. I highly doubt that if you were leading such an assault that you would be able to win. I am hardly at the level of a Kage shinobi, but if you are beaten by Hatake then you stand no chance, Naruto said, and Zabuza growled, though he knew that to be true. Haku just said nothing as they continued to walk through the buildings. That's not going to stop me from trying, Zabuza said, and Naruto snorted. I will not try to avert you from such an attempt. I only recommend that you train until you are sure of yourself. Getting yourself killed without accomplishing your goals is likely wasteful, Naruto said, and Zabuza grumbled. How do you know so much, Naruto-san? Haku asked, and Naruto stopped as he opened a door. There are things that I do not know nor understand. The things I do know come from experience and reading, Naruto said, and Haku just nodded while Naruto closed the door, not seeing what he wanted to see. So just how, Kami forbid, am I supposed to get stronger? Zabuza asked, and Naruto walked some more through the halls with Zabuza and Haku following him. By being patient and learning when to strike. You have a great skill since you're Jonin, but your anger will cloud you one day if you don't rein it in. Also, I shall help you, Naruto said as he opened another door. He suddenly stopped as he walked inside. Help us? Why are you helping us? Haku asked as Naruto came up to a desk. He opened the drawer and noticed stacks of papers. He quickly collected them and sealed them, and then found himself in front of a large, very large, vault. Because Kirigakure has always been something of a wonder to me. I was never able to go there before, Naruto said, and Zabuza raised an eyebrow. Does your team know about that? Zabuza asked, and Naruto stayed silent, answering Zabuza's question. Right along with Haku's. Well, it's not my business, so I don't care, but I also want Haku's question answered more clearly, Zabuza said, and Naruto quickly took out a short sword. He stabbed it into the vault before he used his strength to carve a circle through the lock, allowing it to fall to the floor with a heavy crash. Simple, I'm going to offer the both of you a job, Naruto said as Zabuza and Haku glanced to each other. Zabuza then gave an abrupt laugh, but Naruto ignored it. No offense, Gaki, but you don't have enough money in your little wallet to hire me, Zabuza said, and Naruto snorted. He quickly opened the vault and raised an eyebrow while Haku and Zabuza gasped when they saw a pile of gold coins, shiny pearls, scrolls, and large stacks of yen, ryo, and other types of currency. So Gato didn't even trust others to look after his money. A foolish man indeed. Well, I'll just have Tsunami-san catalog this, Naruto said to himself as he took out a slip of paper and began to write on it while Zabuza and Haku waited for the blonde to finish. Naruto did so and pocketed his paper while he turned around. You will accept this job, Zabuza-san. You're not ignorant. You realize that if you do not accept it, then you will only be taking dead-end jobs around the nation, and your goal will only be that, a goal. It would take years to accomplish, Naruto said, and Zabuza snarled, but Haku steadied his hand. What job do you have for us, Naruto-san? Haku asked. Zabuza just sighed and listened, but they didn't expect Naruto to snap his fingers. Instantly 2 people dropped to the ground as Zabuza and Haku gasped. Gozu, Meizu, where the hell have you 2 been? Haku asked. Neither answered as Gozu knelt before Naruto. Aniki, we sent a hawk to Kisanizen. She should have people here with 4 or 5 days, Gozu said, and Naruto nodded. Very good, Gozu. Now I want you to show your new workers around the newest addition to Exodus Metals and Wave, Naruto said while Zabuza twitched. Haku only allowed a bead of sweat to drop from her face while Zabuza glanced to them. Are you serious? You both workers for Exodus? Zabuza asked as Gozu and Meizu nodded. Hi, we're the ones who were able to give Tazuna-san enough money from Gato's vault to request a mission and bring Aniki here, Gozu said, and Zabuza snarled as he lunged for the demon brothers. But he found himself captured by Naruto's wires. Zabuza glared back as he noticed Naruto glaring right at him. That is enough. I won't let you harm my workers. The only reason I'm offering this to you is because of your intentions in using the money you were given. I find there to be hope in you and Haku-san. Zabuza-san, for the people of my country that you have possibly killed, you will take responsibility, and you will guard Tsunami-san as I have named her the representative of Exodus and Wave, Naruto said while Zabuza narrowed his eyes. Why should I do that? He asked, and Naruto turned to Haku. Because I'm sure that Haku-san is in need of more training if she plans to help you, and you can't do such a thing while you're on the run. It is a requirement, at least in some of the villages I know, for Kage to have partners. You aren't even partnered. You basically stand little chance of success, Naruto said while Zabuza growled, but he said nothing as Naruto allowed him to go. You're saying you're going to finance my plan? Zabuza asked, and Naruto snorted. Don't be foolish, Zabuza-san. I am willing to pay you and Haku-san for your services in protecting Tsunami-san. What you both do with that money is not my concern, Naruto said as Zabuza and Haku widened their eyes. Zabuza-sama, Naruto-san has his company to think about. He wouldn't just instantly do something that would put all his work at risk, Haku said, and Zabuza turned to Haku. You actually believe that this brat is the leader of Exodus? Zabuza asked, and Haku stepped forward. I do not believe that Naruto-san would bring us all the way out here for a talk just to lie to us. I have always been able to tell if someone lies, Haku said, and Zabuza just stared at the blonde. Naruto held out his hand as they looked down. Zabuza grunted and looked away while Haku sighed, but shook Naruto's hand. Thank you for this opportunity, Naruto-sama, Haku said, and Naruto turned around. Naruto-san, or just Naruto, is fine. Formalities are meaningless to me, Naruto said as he walked off with Meizu, Gozu, Zabuza and Haku. So you plan on rebuilding this? Haku asked, and Naruto nodded. That is correct. I'm going to have to send Tsunami-san some plans, but it will work out for the best. Let's go back. I don't need to be gone for too long, Naruto said, and the others agreed. Later evening. Sakura panted as she finished her laps in the forest and landed on the ground while Naruto continued to train on his own. Naruto-kun, I thought we were going to resume the shape manipulation exercise, Sakura said, and Naruto let out a punch before adjusting himself. Your range of techniques is sufficient for now. We'll work on new things for you back in Konoha. However, I expect you to be prepared, Naruto said, and Sakura just nodded with a small sigh. She then gasped as she caught a kunai while she looked down to see Naruto had thrown them. Do I have to?" she asked, and Naruto turned around. "It is recommended. As long as it is that long, then it will be an opportunity for you to be disabled. Plus, until you can fight more efficiently, then it is a letdown," Naruto said, and Sakura just groaned. She really liked him as a teacher and sometimes a friend, or associate, or whatever, but she wished that he made sense of his instructions, but she believed in him as she took the kunai and cut her hair. She allowed it to drop to the ground as it was washed away by the water. Sakura blinked and felt no different, but she figured that this was for the best. So now that we've gotten rid of the hair issue, how, did I do yesterday?" Sakura asked as Naruto was doing his kunai balancing. "You are at the level that I expected you to be. You have also shown to be able to rely upon the gravity seal restriction. You are worthy of praise, Sakura. However, you still consume unneeded chakra in your movements, but that is proper. You still have work that needs to be done, but praise is given where it's deserved." "Excellent work, Naruto," while Sakura rubbed the back of her head. "Naruto is right, Sakura. That was an excellent job. You really impressed me," Kakashi said while Sakura smiled again. "So I'll be training you today since the whole town is still celebrating. I'll see what Naruto has taught you and make improvements upon that," Kakashi stated. Naruto didn't seem to take a notice of it as he had better things to do than have his training style questions by his sensei. "Hi, Kakashi-sensei. I'll see you later," Sakura said, and Naruto just gave a short wave as Sakura and Kakashi walked away. Sasuke, who had been training not too far away, smirked. "Kakashi took you little student dope. Probably going to teach her to be competent," Sasuke said while Naruto turned to him. He then closed his eyes and shook his head at his teammate before continuing what he was doing. Naruto decided to spend this time training himself as he wasn't focused on anything in particular. Gozu, Meizu were already cleaning up Gato's base while showing Zabuza and Haku the renovations that were going to be necessary. Naruto didn't go over this with Tsunami just yet, and he put that in a group of things to do before he left. Finishing his current chakra control exercise, Naruto rummaged through his bag and pulled out a scroll. Naruto had received it from Danzo, and only now did he get the chance to read it. Naruto wiped the sweat off his face as he scrolled through the message in front of him. Apparently Danzo knew that Naruto would be going on a mission, so he had left him the scroll in his house beforehand. Naruto's relationship with Danzo hadn't changed over the time, as the blonde and the old Warhawk still had their professional relationship. This was just how Naruto cared for it. He was one of the only very few people, outside of Root, that knew where Danzo was currently. Just the same as Danzo knew where Naruto was. Also Naruto, having known where Danzo was, could walk to him personally if he needed to, and Root was familiar with Naruto enough to allow that. "So the council is trying to think of ways for me to make weapons, or stop me from doing so. Well, I expected such actions, though it does not hinder me at all. They will only hurt themselves. I'm mostly getting resistance from the civilians. It's to be expected. Well, they may do as they please," Naruto thought to himself as he furled up the scroll. He then stood to his feet and walked back to the house. Naruto came through the door as he noticed Inari staring at Meizu. "Really? You knew my father? He was really a worker for Exodus Metals?" Inari asked excitedly as Meizu nodded. "Gozu was back with Haku and Zabuza." "That's right, brat. Trust us when we say that he was one of our best. Even if he was a fisherman and cook for the company, he was greatly appreciated," Meizu said, and Inari nodded happily. Naruto raised an eyebrow, but he didn't stop the conversation and walked off into the kitchen to see Tsunami patiently waiting for him. "Have I kept you waiting?" Naruto asked while Tsunami straightened up. "Of course not, Naruto-san. I was just finished with what I needed to do." "We can talk upstairs," Tsunami said, and Naruto agreed. He followed her up the stairs, and Tsunami opened the door to a private room, allowing Naruto to walk inside while she closed and locked it. Both sat on the mat as Naruto quickly went into his jacket and pulled out some papers. "I have discovered where Gato has done his activities, and I find it that to be the first place for renovation. Naturally, I won't force you to work there if it is uncomfortable for you in doing so. Naruto paused to gauge Tsunami's reaction, and the only thing he found was a small smile and eyes filled with determination. It might be unsettling at first, Naruto-san, but I believe that I am up to the task, Tsunami said, and Naruto nodded. It is a pleasure to hear that. As for yours, and the rest of the incoming workers, protection in case of incidents like Gato ever again, then I'll give you 2 very capable guards. Their names are Momochi Zabuza and Haku. They will be your protection, Naruto said, and Tsunami nodded. All right. And then does that mean that I'm in charge of them? Tsunami asked, and Naruto nodded. That is correct. However, do not worry about anything. As I have said, they are quite capable, Naruto said, and Tsunami just nodded. Well, since I will be running things, then I don't mind that, but what will I do with Inari? I don't want him to be alone all the time, Tsunami said, and Naruto placed a finger to his chin. He then closed his eyes while Tsunami just waited patiently for him to answer. Does Inari know how to cook? Naruto asked, and Tsunami smiled. Why, yes, he does. He's just as good as his mother taught him, Tsunami said, and Naruto nodded. Then he'll work out fine along with you and Tazuna-san. I would like you to oversee these documents, and prepare to renovate the base to your liking. It is covered by our company, Naruto said while Tsunami gasped. Honestly? I can renovate to how I like? She asked, and Naruto nodded. It is best to suit your conditions, Naruto said, and Tsunami was handed the paper as she read across it. Tsunami was naturally a fast reader, so that didn't take much time as she finished and set them down. Very well. I would actually like to get started with the renovations as soon as possible. Next week, perhaps? She asked, and Naruto agreed. That is wise. Do as you wish. Are you prepared? Naruto asked, and Tsunami gave a firm bow. Hi, Tsunami said, and Naruto stood to his feet. Very good. Well, I believe that is all there is to discuss, Naruto said as he opened the door, but then turned around. Oh, and be sure not to be overwhelmed when you need to take supply of everything, Naruto said, and Tsunami didn't know what he meant by that, but she just let it go with a small nod. Oh, but she would find out though. 2 weeks later. Over the last 2 weeks, Tsunami now knew what Naruto was talking as she nearly passed out from trying to stock Gato's immense fortune, which she was still in the process of doing to this very time, and she always seemed to be busy. During those 2 weeks, Tsunami got acquainted with Zabuza and Haku as she already began to start making plans for the renovation of Gato's base, which Naruto had already given her the go to do. Wave had finally stopped its celebration and went back to work, and the bridge was just on the finishing touches on it, with Team 7's mission nearly being a success. Also during that time, Sasuke chose to work on his Sharingan and his current skills, while Sakura continued to trade off between Kakashi and Naruto in training. She didn't mind this as both were nice teachers, but Sakura felt that Kakashi wasn't as tuned to her needs and wants like Naruto was. He gave her what she needed and occasionally what she wanted. Kakashi really only gave her what she wanted. Rinko, Tuka and Fu had learned to speak just a little better since they had their language lessons with Naruto at night near dinner time. Gozu and Meizu had left a week ago to report to Kisa, which Naruto allowed as he knew she was probably coming already, or she was at least sending someone to represent her. It just so happened that what he thought was right as he was walking through the streets and heard someone constantly shouting, "They're here! They're here!" A civilian shouted, running through the streets, while Naruto blinked. "Whoa, calm down, man. Who's here?" Tazuna asked, and the man panted while he quickly caught his breath. "Exodus Metals. They arrived just a few hours ago and they're walking through the streets," he said, and Tazuna widened his eyes. "Man, those guys don't joke. They really learned about us finishing the bridge fast," Tazuna said, and people murmured before all turned to gasps as Naruto looked on at the sight. He narrowed his eyes when he noticed Fugai and Ryuzetsu. So Kisa has sent Ryuzetsu and Fugai. That is just like her, Naruto thought while Fugai and Ryuzetsu waved to the crowd. "Sorry for taking so long," Ryuzetsu said, waving while Fugai sighed. "Ryuzetsu, that's enough. We're supposed to meet with Uzumaki-sama, so act professional," Fugai said while Ryuzetsu nodded. "I realize that, but it's been a while since I've been to Wave, that's all. I'll be sure to be upright when we see Uzumaki-sama," Ryuzetsu stared forward in shock while Fugai raised an eyebrow. What is it? She asked, but Ryuzetsu didn't respond. Fugai followed her line of vision and widened her eyes when she and Ryuzetsu saw Naruto looking at them. Fugai quickly gave a small bow and Naruto acknowledged it with a nod of his head that everyone missed. Both Fugai and Ryuzetsu quickly moved forward, but as much as they resented it, they had to put their current president on hold as Fugai came in front of Tazuna. I am Fugai. Kisa-sama has sent me to represent Exodus Metals. We quickly mobilized when we heard of Gato's death, she said, and Tazuna chuckled. It's all thanks to the brat and his team here, Tazuna said, touching Naruto's shoulder. Fugai and Ryuzetsu stared at Naruto while the blonde stared back. Ryuzetsu lost her voice and wanted to say something, but didn't. Greetings. In behalf of Exodus, we would like to thank you for what you have done. Because of you, we can now get back on track with what we lost. My name is Fugai and this is Ryuzetsu, she said, and Naruto nodded. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. It is a pleasure to meet with you. We have just performed our duties. Our team is actually getting ready to leave, Naruto said, and Fugai raised an eyebrow, as did Ryuzetsu. So soon? Fugai asked, and Naruto nodded. That is right. We must be on our way, Naruto said, and Fugai just nodded sadly. Ryuzetsu held her head down, and Naruto wasn't oblivious to their reactions. Well, your team is still at our house, so they can come over and we can talk, Tazuna said while Naruto shrugged. The two women agreed with him, and they all went on their way. Tazuna's house. Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi picked up their bags as they stared at Fugai and Ryuzetsu. I had no idea that Exodus employees were so young, Kakashi said, looking at Ryuzetsu while she snorted. You'd be surprised at my qualifications, she returned, and Kakashi just nodded as he rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Rest assured that we value Ryuzetsu a great deal, as with all our other employees, Fugai said while Kakashi just took her word for it. Well, we'll get out of your hair and let Wave be the country that we know it can be. Let's go, team, Kakashi said as he, Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke left through the door. Fugai and Ryuzetsu looked down, but Ryuzetsu quickly spotted something and turned a hard left and tapped Fugai's shoulder. What is it? Fugai asked, and Ryuzetsu pointed to Naruto in the forest. But he just left. Fugai gasped, and they quickly exited the house and ran into the forest. Both appeared as they noticed Naruto leaning on a tree bark. It's good to see you again, Fugai, Ryuzetsu, Naruto said, and both nodded. Hi, Uzumaki-sama. It is a great pleasure to see you as well, Fugai said while Ryuzetsu gave a firm nod. How are you here when we saw you leave with your team? Ryuzetsu asked, and Naruto looked out in that direction. I am an Earth clone. What we talk about will be sent to me, Naruto spoke, and both nodded. Well, Uzumaki-sama, Kisa-sama sends her apologies that she couldn't come herself as there was something she had to do, Fugai said while Naruto steadied his hand. That is fine. I actually need to clarify some things with the both of you, Naruto said, and they nodded eagerly. As you have probably been informed, Gato is indeed dead and Exodus is an influence. I have taken his current company and joined it with my own, allowing for Exodus to take control of the sea routes. Naruto paused as Fugai and Ryuzetsu gasped. Then we won't have to deal with Gato anymore to allow us the use of the sea to use metals, Ryuzetsu said, and Naruto confirmed it with a nod. That is correct. Gato's base is quickly under Exodus control, and tell Kisa that I have already picked the representative to be stationed here. She is the head of the Exodus production in Wave. Her name is Tsunami, the mother of Inari, and the daughter of Tazuna. Make sure she had everything she needs, Naruto said, and Fugai gasped. A representative already? Well, we'll welcome her and show her the roles well, Uzumaki-sama. Sorry our encounter was only brief, Fugai said, and Naruto gave a small smile. Regardless of such things, it was great to see you both. Hopefully the day will come when we meet in person. Farewell, Naruto said as Ryuzetsu and Fugai watched him dispel into a clump of rocks. He's just as we remember, isn't he? Ryuzetsu asked, and Fugai nodded. Yeah, he is. But we have work to do, so let's get it done, Fugai said, and Ryuzetsu agreed as they walked off. Bridge. Naruto and the rest of Team 7 appeared at the entrance to the bridge as Naruto twitched. He narrowed his eyes before his lips formed a small smile. Come back sometime. We'll never forget you, Tazuna said, waving while Inari did the same. Tsunami gave a light wave and bowed to Naruto while the blonde nodded. We will buy everyone, Sakura said, and they all walked off while the people seemed content to watch them go. Uzumaki-san, Chichi called out, and Naruto stopped as he turned around, lowered the book he was reading and looked forward as Chichi raised his hand into the air. We are proud men of Wave, he yelled, and the men shouted agreement as Tazuna, Tsunami and Inari smiled. Naruto hid it behind his book, but a real smile came on his face as he turned around. Very good. You are men worth praising, Naruto said as they continued to walk away with Rinko, Tuka and Fu right behind the team. In order for this bridge to be on the map, it will need a name. Does anyone have any names? Fugai asked, and Tazuna smiled. To the young man who reminded us of Kaiza. This bridge that gave us hope and delivered Gato to us. We'll call this the Great Naruto Bridge, Tazuna said while Fugai sighed. Ryuzetsu snickered as they watched Naruto go. It was a fantastic name. That's it for part 6. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.